And good morning and welcome to Sports Talk, another edition of Sports Talk. Glad to have you with us. David Cuter along with Terry Reinhart, Kevin Hastings, Jason Barber on a cloudy, somewhat cloudy, overcast Saturday morning. Who you waving at, Terry? The camera?
The smoke.
Your fan? Light snow this morning in parts of Lincoln County. I didn't see any once I got over to Gaston County, but yes, there was some light snow this morning over my way. As I got this way, before I even got out of Lincoln County, before I got out of Lincoln, the snow had gone away. Are you trying to tell me something, Terry? Are we not on?
Yeah, smoke keeps looking at me doing funny signals.
Well, you'll have to keep
He's giving
up
smoke signals.
He's
Yeah,
giving
well,
smoke
I'm
signals.
telling
Yeah,
you.
I don't.
He's in there saying something about St. Mary's, I think is what's on his shirt.
Saying they got in the tournament over NC State.
No, wrong answer.
We'll get into that in a little bit. There's several things we want to talk about this morning. Of course, big news of the week locally was the cancellation of all of the conference tournaments in our area, from the SMAC Conference to the Big South, the SD7, Southern Piedmont 1A. Nobody had a tournament. Now, there were a couple play-in games finally played last night, and not so much play-in games, but games for seeding. And I think that both those games determined the number 2 seed. Am I right? Obviously, the East Rutherford-Shelby game determined the number 2 seed behind East Burke.
Yeah, both of them were great games.
And
when it come down to the end.
And then we have Forest View playing South Point last night, and I'm guessing that determined the 2 seed behind Ashbrook in the Big South. We'll check that out here in a little bit and make sure that is correct, because I have the newspaper right in front of me, and I'll read through it here in a little bit. Phil Garner covered the game last night for the Gaston Gazette, that South Point and Forest View game. And as the playoffs approach, it must have been playoff-like atmospheres last night in both of those games. Both, like you said, Terry, both of them very competitive games last night.
I think the Forest View probably had a lot better crowd because we were at Crest last night.
On a neutral
there
floor.
was actually a lot of empty seats. So it got kind of filled up near about halftime. Start of the game, I mean, it was plenty of empty seats.
7 o'clock start.
Yeah, 7 o'clock start. We played at Crest. East Rutherford hit a game-winning shot at the buzzer. It was very controversial. We'll talk about it. I guess we can talk about it right now. Might as well. With half a second left, kid caught the ball at the three-point line, took a dribble, and then shot it, and it got in. So we think the clock operator,
we think
the clock operator's finger didn't hit it in time.
That's got to be.
That's the only reason we can think of.
Must be that clock operator in New Zealand. You seen that? Like, the game in New Zealand, 1 second on the clock, they inbound it from the far end of the court. Guy takes 2 dribbles, they hit a half-court shot, and they counted it.
Seconds or longer in New Zealand.
Yeah, but so we thought, East Rutherford has a kid at 6'6". He had 18 points, 14 rebounds. We thought with half a second, tap's going to him. And all of a sudden, we look out, and there's a guy still on the three-point line. Now, the kid that hit the shot before this from three-point range was 1 of 7 from 3 before this shot. So
he was due.
Nobody was expecting him to hit the shot, pulled it. He was due, and they went crazy. East Rutherford advanced. Coach Reynolds was asking if we had that on video or not. He wanted to see it. So, but it was a good game. Best game I've been to this year. I've been to all.
It's time to get some good ones.
I've been to every game I've been to has been 20 points or more, except last night. So finally I got to saw a good one. Now with the playoffs coming up, Crest should be pretty good. East Rutherford, they'll go as far as they can go until someone can stop that center. He's just taller and bigger than everybody else. And Shelby, they have no height, so they've got to out hustle, out rebound, out defense people. Pretty much got to win the hustle stats for Shelby to win, but they couldn't come through last night.
Yeah, and we talked about it before we went on the air this morning. It used to be the rule, and I'm guessing it still is, 0.4 of a second you can catch, shoot. Under that, you've got to just basically slap it, tap it, whatever. You don't have time to catch and shoot. I'm pretty sure that the rule wouldn't say with 0.5 of a second or 0.5 of a second that you actually have time to dribble and then shoot.
Right.
I mean, you'd think that referees would already know that ahead of time, Terry. Come on now. Referees know that already ahead of time.
You should.
But and no matter when the buzzer goes off, if somebody takes a dribble, you just don't have time
You
to
should
know
know
that.
somebody messed something up.
Yeah.
Right.
He didn't.
But
have
boy,
time.
I'd hate to be in the middle of that either way. You know what I mean? If you're an official and you've got that, either
Well,
way.
the official closest to us, he was out the door before
Yeah,
I
he
could
was
even
out.
stand up. So one guy
Kevin
was
said he
gone.
looked like Usain Bolt
Like, you're not about to beat
Getting
me
out
back
Oh,
in
he
the
was.
getting off the floor. But
Well, the last few minutes it got really chippy. Both teams. It went from a really clean kind of a game to a kind of a fight almost. The teams got real physical there at the end, so the referees were already getting fussed at and chewed on, and then that happened. So that, like I said, that one guy, he went past me flames on.
Both crowds were into it, especially late. You could tell everyone was starting to stand up those last minute and a half or so.
Evan got his first taste of Cleveland County basketball.
You know,
was real
either way in that situation, if you're the official, whichever way you call it,
Yeah.
so you're going to get hammered
Oh, yeah.
one way or the other because, you know.
In Shelby, when they go back and look at it, they lost by 1. Holyfield was in foul trouble the whole time. He hardly played the first half, and Patrick Little missed 2 dunks. So, you know, you lose by 1, you miss 2 dunks, and your center don't even play really the first half. He came in and got 5 rebounds immediately in the second half, had none first half. Of course, coach's son, freshman, made a couple freshman mistakes. They got in his head a little bit. I think the big man got to him, but they'll be okay.
And, you know, fortunately there, it's not eliminating Shelby from the playoffs.
Right,
Shelby's
just
gonna
seeding game.
Shelby's still going to be going into the playoffs. So obviously, they'll be a lower seed than they would have been had they won that game. A lot of folks are waiting to see where they are. You know, it's projected they'll be in the bottom.
What time are they supposed to
6
come
or
out
so.
today? Have they
Sometime this afternoon, I
just
heard.
whenever they get to it?
Yeah.
You're right, but here's one thing about it. At least it's 4 bracket. Well, no, it's 8. You got girls too.
Yeah.
Well,
Never
yeah.
mind. I was thinking about football where you had 8 brackets, but it still is 8
But
brackets.
yeah,
so
technically still 4.
you
but-
actually got twice as many teams if you look at it that way, because we're going to have 32 in the East, 32 in the West in each bracket, and that 4 classifications, boys and girls. You know, while that one didn't eliminate Shelby, it looks like the Big South game last night could have eliminated South Point. They were playing for the conference's final playoff berth. Now, South Point could still get a wild card and get into the playoffs today, it appears. But Forest View winning that game last night, has South Point sitting on the edge of their seat, I'm sure, waiting to see today if they're going to get one of those wild cards or not.
I got a question on the parents. Do they go by a certain number of games?
22. is
They
what
go
I've
by
been told.
22. Now, does that do you drop one or do you give them one?
Yeah.
Or how does that work?
Well, and here's what we've talked about this morning. In the case of East Lincoln Smoky Mountain is 20-something and 1.
Yeah, 1.
20-something and 1. So they're going to be able to drop their loss because it was a non-conference loss, be 22-0. East Lincoln being 19-0. Smoky Mountain will be seated higher. Now, is that right or is that wrong? There's different ways to look at it. And I will say this, East Lincoln's football team, we know how deep they went in the playoffs. They did not play a basketball game till they got their football players. So they're kind of being penalized for that. I'm not so sure that's 100%
Did
wrong.
they end up postponing any
Yeah.
games? And didn't even
Canceling.
play any?
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. They
canceling.
didn't cancel
Ashbrook.
anything.
They were supposed to play at Ashbrook.
Okay.
And I think there was maybe another. I don't know if they were supposed to play Ashbrook twice or not.
Yeah.
But I know they were supposed to play them one time at least. But, then not getting to play a conference tournament, which if they win that gives them their 22 wins, So, the way it looks, the way it's drawn up by the rules and everything, it looks like Smoky Mountain will be the one.
Well, now,
They
does
didn't
this
know
not
they were
all
going-
come back to when we had into football, when South Point and all of those were involved in that one? On account of they dropped losses. I mean, and then one of them went undefeated, and then they got seated lower. I mean, we're coming back to the same scenario.
We are, and I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'd love to see East Lincoln be the 1 seed and get all their games at home. But in Smoky Mountain's defense, you got to say, well, East Lincoln, if you played 25 games like we did, that's 6 more chances you have to lose a game.
True.
That's very true.
Especially when they Ashbrook is a couple of them.
There's a good argument for both of them. I guess at the end of the day, as far as East Lincoln's got to be concerned, they say, well, we're 19-0, we're going to be home except for 1 game.
True.
Now,
And we
If
got to
it
beat
even
them
comes to
anyway.
that.
I'm about to say,
Either
if it
way,
comes
we
to
got to
that.
beat
Comes to
them
that.
anyway.
Right.
I'm about to say, would they even face each other before the regional? Well, it depends on how the bracket.
I would
comes
imagine
out.
not, would
Well,
they?
that's right.
You
It won't
should.
matter.
So, but say,
I can't
So
imagine.
they won't be
Right.
on a home court
Right.
then.
It
So
won't
that,
matter.
good.
You're
Yeah, that's a
right.
good point,
Good
Jason.
job, Jason. Yeah,
We
exactly.
keep
I
him
didn't
around
think-
here for
I
something.
didn't
He
even
wears the
think about
Appalachian
that.
State. He gets smarter every time. I tell you, he
But,
says intelligent
but,
things. when he wears
but I'm
that.
highly, but I'm very, very. I'm a genius when I'm in my Fayetteville State. Game.
Oh,
Say
okay,
that,
okay,
say-
okay.
I didn't want to
Yeah.
start.
You're a B level at Appalachian.
Let's
You
say.
put the Fayetteville C's A.
Yeah.
And that FSU's not Florida State.
No.
Okay. It's
The
Fayetteville.
real FSU.
Okay.
The real.
Okay.
Well, we say the real ASU.
But we'll find out today. But you're right; that really doesn't mean a thing. The only thing it would mean is you get down to the regionals, and East Lincoln might
What
play a
color
slightly
jersey?
better team.
Where is
Yeah,
the,
and they
where
might
is the
play
West Regional?
Winston
At
this
Winston-Salem.
year. Back
Yeah.
to Winston instead of
So Wake
Greensboro.
Forest.
Part of it.
It's Coliseum and then the annex right beside of it where they
Okay.
had hockey.
And then sometimes they've used a high school in the past too. I've been to one of the Forsyths to cover a game. I
play-
think I've been to Trinity. High
According,
to cover
according
a
to the
game.
schedule, my brother sent me the schedule last week. Everything is going to be at the
Okay.
Coliseum or the annex right beside
Ooh,
of it. So
Yeah, when I was in school,
Girls
we
too?
played it.
Yes.
We played CVCC and Hickory High.
That's a lot.
I think we put the girls in the annex and the boys in the Little John.
No, here it is. Actually,
Just split it up.
here's the schedule. Starting March 3rd, Tuesday, March 3rd goes through March 7th. For the men,
It's just a week away.
yep, Tuesday and Wednesday, 3A and 4A.
Really?
3A, 4A men are in the Coliseum. On Thursday and Friday, the 1A, 2A are in the fairgrounds, the annex right
Good
beside it.
grief.
Women on Tuesday and Wednesday, March 3rd and 4th, they start 2A and 1A are at the annex, and Thursday and Friday they are at the 4A, 3A are at the Coliseum.
So the 3A and 4A schools get to play at the Coliseum, and the 1A and 2A's get to play in some junk gym down the street.
Now on Saturday, which would be
We usually split it up.
the regional championship day, starting at 12 noon, 3A men, 4A men at 2 o'clock, 4A women, 3A women at 4 and 6 are in the Coliseum, and at 2A, 1A, 2A, 1A. Men and women.
1A, 2A, and annex.
Let me see just a minute, Jason. I just want to see if I've got to comprehend what you were saying there. You know,
State. Now, where's the states at?
the 2A, which they'll be at Chapel Hill and Raleigh.
Okay. So 1A, he's saying the 1A and 2A, boys and girls are both in the annex.
Annex,
And
yep.
3A and 4A are in,
Yes.
are in the
Yep,
on
and
the
I was
big
just looking
gym.
to see, and here's the deal. You think about some of these teams happen, well, they're getting ready to play 3 games this week. Obviously, if you win, you'll play Monday, Wednesday, Friday this week, and then advance to the regionals. But yeah, the 2A will be on Friday night. So
Friday night.
that's what I was looking to see, and we got a lot of 2A fans in this area, and of course the other is the 3A, which will be on Tuesday night, which includes your Crest, your Kings Mountain, your Burns, those schools from around here.
Burns
North
is out.
Lincoln as well.
They got knocked out.
Did they?
First,
Completely-
one of the first
completely
teams
eliminated.
out.
But yeah,
According to the predictions online that I've been looking at, Burns is going to be the first team out of the SMAC.
and I guess I was reading the men's. I didn't even check that part. I guess I better be reading the men's. And then of course championship Saturday for the men game times at noon for 3A. And then
Where's the
6
1A and
o'clock
2A? He's playing at
for
Carmichael.
2A. Well, I was going. I was going regional championship. We'll find out. I mean, it's probably already determined.
Yeah.
I just don't know yet.
They're going to send the 1A and 2A over to Carolina High or Chapel Hill High or Fetzer. Play over there and let the 4A's play in the Dean Smith
Well,
Center.
I'll be honest with you. I prefer the smaller venues.
I do too. Smith
you know?
Center's way
Yeah,
too big.
yeah, with
It's
for the,
23,000 seats. You know.
You know, we talked about when it was in Greensboro, the best settings, UNCG.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice gym. The fans are right on the court, and it's
Talk about
it's
the main
loud.
the main court.
Yeah,
That's kind of big too, though.
But I've seen it pretty full.
Somewhere
when you
small
get
like
these-
Duke would
get
be
these.
good, but they're not a state school. I don't know. Charlotte would be a good spot.
Well, Duke's much bigger than UNCG. So
Yeah.
you kind of lost me there.
UNC
Greensboro
Yeah,
Coliseum.
UNCG.
No, no,
Oh,
Coliseum.
I don't know anything. I thought you were talking about the Coliseum. I was like,
UNCG's
that's
awesome.
a lot of people. I've never been to the.
UNCG's
I've never
awesome.
been to UNCG.
It probably seats what, Jason? 4,000,
Probably
3.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
4,000.
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And I'm talking about the seats. It's like Wake Forest football. You're almost on,
Yeah,
on
that's-
top
that's
of
good.
it.
If you've been to Davidson's gym, very similar.
Yeah, okay.
Davidson's a good
Something
gym,
like
too.
that. Davidson, Charlotte,
Davidson would
Appalachia's
be
got
good.
9,000, but nobody's going up
Davidson
there
would be
for West or anything like that.
They get postponed for a
It's
month.
funny how people. It's funny how people in the in Chapel Hill think the West, the furthest west they ever go is Winston
I'm
Salem.
about to say.
There's nothing west in North Carolina as Winston
I'm
Salem.
not going to complain this year though because they finally got into the
Yeah.
West.
But
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
hey, shout out to the NCHSAA to getting their regional location set up right, because usually it's been in Greensboro, and then all the Guilford County schools are put in the East playoff
Yeah.
bracket. So how are you a host for the Western Regional with your own
your own
local
schools in the East.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
That's why in Chapel Hill and Raleigh. I mean, they do not go west. I mean, it doesn't happen. They have to start going uphill a little bit past Winston Salem. Their cars break down. I think or they get lost. Something happens to them.
Too far from the headquarters.
Well, you're exactly right.
far
But
from
they'll
the
make
headquarters.
a Western team go all the way to the Havelock for a Eastern Regional
yeah,
for a
White
state
White
championship.
won't tell you about it.
West Lincoln's got to go to the beach for a state championship, but they won't come past Winston Salem for anything.
We're going to look a little bit at the preliminary brackets. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I mean, it's all speculation, but a lot of times these people that do this, they study it a whole lot more than I do, and they hit it pretty close. So we'll look at those in a little bit. They do have, we'll check out some of the seeds for our local teams. And Smoke was telling me earlier that one of the projections he saw does have Smoky Mountain as the 1 and East Lincoln as the 2. But like we said, that don't mean a whole lot unless you draw a real tough team in that regional round, like the 3 seed would play East Lincoln and the 4 seed would play Smoky Mountain. And first you got to worry about getting there. I mean, you got to win those games.
But I still think you got to look at how many games you lost. I'm sorry about dropping.
I
game.
agree with you, and to a certain point, I agree.
I really.
But
I mean, it's not under their Smoky Mountain. Did you go anywhere? No, you didn't. So I mean, that's how come East Lincoln had to drop games because they went so far in football. I mean, there's a big deal there. If you don't go somewhere
if
in football, then you're going to start your schedule right on schedule.
But is it the Smoky Mountains coach fault to say, hey, because East Lincoln advanced in football, that's
I think it's the state of North Carolina's fault for crossing
Letting
the
it
schedules
overlap.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you can play. You might be shorthanded, but you can play those games. You know what I mean?
If you have to bring up your JV players to do so, that's not on the football team.
But in Terry's defense on that, I think again that's on the state, and why should a coach have
Sure.
to even do
Yeah,
that?
that's
He
what I'm
should- he
saying.
should- They don't
I mean,
do this in
that's-
other sports, do
but-
they?
Yeah,
Well,
I
we think about
sorry.
basketball.
basketball and baseball overlap a little bit, but
Baseball shouldn't be playing
But,
right
but
now.
well, and the
It's
thing
too
is,
cold.
and also basketball playoffs zip by so fast.
Yeah.
I mean, you're done in 3 weeks. In football, you're done in 5.
Yeah, that took
So-
Well,
forever.
I'm still saying I don't care. Smoky Mountain, y'all can call me, do whatever, be mad, tweet, whatever you need to do.
Well, Terry,
But you
they're
should
gonna
not be
put
a
up
number one.
They're not going to put up a sign in the gym that says we were number 1 seed. So, I think
And you're going
you
to
want
take
to
it.
be.
If somebody
Look.
gives it to you, you're going to
Oh,
take
you're
it.
going to take it.
You're gonna take it.
I'm with you.
But
You can tweet Terry
if-
at.
no, you can't. and also, like we talked about earlier, it's not near as big a deal knowing that if you do make the regionals, everybody's on the same floor anyway. All 4 teams are on the same court, so it really would not matter.
I just hope that NCHS does their best to put the best referees on the floor once we get that far. 'Cause I've seen some very questionable things this year, and basketball is the hardest sport to
Sure it is.
referee. Really,
Easily.
And, you got 3 guys out there.
that's what I say. How can you not get it right?
Well,
You need
Look,
4.
man, look.
there's
You
so
need
much
4.
going on
You
in
see how it is,
basketball
bro.
you do not see. You see
You're right.
every holding? No, you don't see
No.
every holding. When you've only got 2, that really limits what you're
Hard
looking
to watch
at.
10.
I've
Yeah.
always thought like
You
pro and
And keep an eye on the
maybe
ball.
even college should have 4. The boys move up and down the court so fast. These old guys can't, can't keep up with it and then see everything. They miss so many calls. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but I hear 15 times over the back when the ball's in the air and nobody's
But I
going
will
over
say
nobody's
this.
back.
I will say this, in my opinion anyway, if they did have that many and they did call everything,
It'd
I
be
wouldn't
a
like it.
slower game. Yeah, you talking
I wouldn't
about
like it.
Well, the players would adjust a little bit.
It would,
They test out a lot. Different teams are different. Like you play at Shelby, in my experience, you're going to get fouled 125 times, and the referees they aren't going to call every one. So the players test very
Sure.
early in the
Well,
first
yeah.
quarter
See what you get
exactly
away
what
with.
you're going to get.
Let me
away
tell you
with.
what I tell people. That's like playing softball. When the people come up and says, Terry, you missed 2 calls. Okay, I missed 2. Well, something must have been wrong with your coach because he made 21 outs. So we'd have never got out
I
of the
thought you
first
were going
inning.
to say that they were way low on that estimate.
God, I thought I missed 12.
I mean,
Thank
you
you.
know.
Yeah. Thanks,
No,
man.
I'm just kidding.
Thanks
I
for
mean,
the
Well, I got
compliment.
98% of them right, guys. I mean, are you
Yeah,
100%
try it.
right in your job? And,
No.
this is a kid's, and you're
Yeah.
and probably what you were talking about. Probably 8-year-olds out there.
so
It does, yeah. And the younger they are, the harder it is to officiate, too.
Oh, I've thrown
Tell you
more
that.
parents out of 8 and 7-year-old games than I have high school and, and junior high games.
We're going to talk about a few things here. Here's something that you guys can comment on if you'd like. It's a sport I care absolutely zero about, but Mayweather-Pacquiao setting out for a May fight.
Yeah, May 2nd, man. Wish this would have happened 5 years ago, but hey, we'll
That's what
take it.
everybody's saying.
We'll take it. I mean, because you got a 38-year-old Floyd Mayweather that's going to be taking on a 36-year-old Manny Pacquiao.
That's my biggest point is that we're looking at 2 almost 40-year-old guys that weigh. How much do they weigh?
I think Floyd's like a 120.
120. We're watching
but there's
two-
nobody else.
We're
There's
watching
nobody
two
else.
120-year-old men slap each other and that's
You
supposed to be the
have
best thing
nobody
we've ever
else.
seen.
But I like watching
I
Floyd
know
fight.
Terry's right. We have nothing else. There's
When
no
I was a
heavyweights.
kid, I used to
like
love
the
the
heavy. I like the
heavyweight.
heavyweight.
I
Yeah.
kept up with it.
If you can't
Everybody
knock
did.
somebody out,
And you-
I don't
and
call
you
it a
couldn't
fight.
watch
Or
it.
box. It's more like a slap fest.
The only thing that bothers me with this is this is going to be the hardest Floyd Mayweather's ever been hit.
Yeah, that's
If
he gets
Floyd
hit.
gets now, Floyd is a great tactician. If you watch him in the ring, he's a great defensive
Well, he better
fighter,
be.
and
But
He's
he's not
getting
going to
ready
knock
to
out
get tattooed.
Pacquiao.
yeah,
don't hit
Floyd-
hard
Floyd-
enough.
He'll
Floyd's
not
knockout
knock
puncher.
him
No,
out.
he's there
He'll
to
not
win
knock
the
him out.
scorecard.
Yeah.
Floyd's going to try to win that
that's
score.
that's
I
the
know.
job. Hey.
And that's one thing I don't like about boxing is that I think you should fight till somebody gets unable to go.
It
or you
used to
knock
be
'em
back
out.
in the old
That's
days.
what it used to be. We're going
Fight to the
25
death.
rounds till somebody wins this
1930s,
match. And we're going to
1940s.
overtime. Now they just slap each other for 10 rounds and hope some East Russian judge judged it right. I mean,
Yeah, and along with your point, Kevin, I don't like it when a guy wins the first 5 rounds. If it's let's say it's a 15-round fight, wins the first 10 rounds, loses the last 5, but by winning the first 10, he's the winner of the fight. But isn't it all about
and he's
how you
standing
are
there
at the
about to
end?
fall over at the
It's all about how you are at the end, right? I mean, that's what you would think.
Well, I'm already seeing it out on Twitter and everything. Talking about the hotel rooms in Vegas. Rooms are going for like regular standard hotel room there at the Vegas hotel on the Strip. Now I'm going for about $500 a night.
I mean, at least the WWE gets it right. They fight until somebody pins somebody or gets knocked out with a submission hold or a chair over the
But it's all
head.
choreographed.
You know what, Jason? I'd go watch it if somebody
rather watch-
gave me a ticket, bought me a plane ticket out there, and paid for my hotel room. I'd pay for
I'd
my
go-
own
you'd
gambling.
go.
I'd go then.
The pay-per-view is expected to be between probably, I think the word is $89.99 for standard definition, $99.99 for high def. They still haven't worked out the particulars as who
That's
is.
done standard definition still.
Hey, dog, some people got that struggle. Some people have that struggle.
I
out there. You
guess,
never
but
know.
like
if
I
you,
got ripped
if
off.
you got standard definition, you're not buying the fight.
saying it's
Maybe,
out
well,
there.
I ain't gonna say there's none. There will
It's-
be.
It's out there.
There'll be some geniuses that'll
There's
spend their
still,
money
there's
on
still the
that.
particulars trying to work out who is going to have the replay because Pacquiao's contracted with HBO as
Right.
far as his fights. Mayweather's with Showtime. They haven't worked that out, and the pay is 60-40 split. Floyd's going to get $120 million. Manny's going to get $80 million.
Unreal.
Yeah, it is. It is.
To slap each other.
Unreal.
Hey,
Just to slap each other.
For,
Look, if I
for
knew I was
15 minutes or
125
less.
found me in the
15
And,
slap.
and
minutes
here's
or
your
less,
deal.
pay me $3 million.
If
How much-
Where's our
Floyd
country at?
gets beat, there'll be a rematch.
Well, right now there's no rematch
Absolutely.
clause.
Well, that's what I'm
Right
saying.
now,
That's going to happen. There's no way Floyd's going to say, okay, that's it.
Well, Floyd, I think he had a 6-fight deal with Showtime, and he's already had 4. So this will be his 5th fight coming up. That he has
That's
with
it.
Showtime.
There's your extra fight you're going to have if he gets beat.
Also this week, Kurt Busch, speaking of sports where there's fighting, Kurt Busch suspended indefinitely for supposedly domestic
You know, yeah, the
abuse.
domestic
Well,
abuse. Yeah,
He's disputing that it's domestic abuse.
He
He's
claims-
arguing that he was fighting with a trained assassin.
Yeah, that's true.
That's his claim.
I wonder how deep that's been checked out yet.
I don't know. He says she comes back with blood on her clothes and stuff. I mean,
That's
Well,
because she left with
ain't
it.
that step one? Isn't that when you end the
leave?
relationship?
yeah, yeah. It's like, hold on, you
When
did
she
what?
comes back in a dress covered in blood.
That's because she left with it, though. He had already.
Oh, okay. He already- wow.
Of course
wow.
you
You can tweet David Keever.
But I got to guess here, on this, I give NASCAR the legits for going ahead and stepping up
Yep.
because every sport now is starting to step up. Like, this is not
You're
going to
right.
happen.
Hey, had that been the NFL, you would have seen all these think pieces
Oh, yeah.
and everything.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, no.
Well,
go
now, didn't
ahead.
somebody paint Ray Rice on his car or something?
Oh.
They put it
Yeah,
somewhere,
the
either in
garage.
his yard, in his garage, on
Yeah.
his garage.
Yeah. Well, that's
Put-
no
put
worse
Ray
than what
Rice
was it Hardy going to try to get off on account he paid somebody off. That's not going to happen, y'all. I mean, the NFL's not going to let that happen for you to get back in.
But the
Hardy
court
did
system
what?
Did.
They
They
Hardy did
settled.
what?
They
Oh,
settled.
yeah,
Oh.
old girl
outside,
settled out of court, and then
Yeah.
she didn't show up for the criminal trial.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what Beeson? I mean, not Beeson. Thomas Davis was like, "Yeah, we'd welcome him back. We'd love to have him back. He's a
Look.
good player." The man of the year. I'm not saying someone else in that locker room said, "Hey, come back. He's a good guy." The man of the year said, "Yeah, let's bring
Because-
back the guy who
because-
whipped his girlfriend's butt and about
Because
killed
at
her."
the end of the day, it's all about can he help me out on this
Exactly.
football
If
field.
if that guy was making $100,000 and we didn't know his name, would he be still? Would we? Would
No,
would
you
still be
never know
connected with
about
the
him no
Panthers?
more.
No,
No.
not a
No.
thing.
Not
And
at
just
all.
because the Panthers owe him a bunch of $1 million, we're
Well,
still
not
talking.
now. He's a free agent now.
Is he?
Yeah, because he was on the
Good.
franchise tag. He was
Good.
franchise tag last season. That's when he sat home.
And you can get picked up. Ask Buffalo. They picked
he'll
up-
get picked up,
yeah.
definitely. One man's problem is another man's treasure in
Yep.
the NFL.
NFL,
You're not an
you can play.
incognito fan?
Well, there you go. I mean, he got picked up. I mean, don't get me wrong. I
Who?
guess no
Richie
matter what you
Incognito.
do and you get
Incognito.
second chances, and I understand every bit of that. I'm with all that. I am.
He should. I think he should get a second chance, and we'll see. He's with Rex now, so he'll
Yeah.
behave. We'll
Yeah.
take a time out here. Glad to have you with us on a Saturday morning. Stay tuned for more sports talk.
We're a community bank. That's why we always try to approach things from a community-minded point of view. When something is in the best interest of the communities we serve, it's good for us as well. We're community-minded, just like you.
Carolina Trust Bank, member FDIC. Community-minded, just like you.
Here's what's up in Cleveland, Gaston, and Lincoln counties. Right about the What's Up Shopper and Big O Country, WHS, WCSL, and WLON. The Gateway Trail 5K run is set for Saturday, March 7th at the Kings Mountain Gateway Trail at 807 South Battleground Avenue in Kings Mountain. Cost is $25 to pre-register and $30 on race day. The event will start at 9 a.m. For more information, contact the Kings Mountain Gateway Trail office at 704-739-9663. And the Cleveland County Relay for Life Leadership Team Meeting will be held on Tuesday, March 3rd at 6 p.m. It'll be held at the Cleveland Volunteer Fire Department. This year's Cleveland County Relay for Life is set for May 15th. And that's What's Up, brought to you by the What's Up Shopper, Big O Country, WHS, WCSL, and WLON. For more information, go to whatsupshopper.com.
Team, defined as a group linked in a common purpose. Defined by effort, heart, and stamina. Defined by victory.
Carolina's going to win its 8th in a row, and this one's even sweeter, baby.
Every game, all season long, right here on the Tar Heel Sports Network.
North Carolina Tar Heel, Duke Blue Devil, Clemson Tiger, and ACC basketball, along with the NCAA basketball tournament, right here on Big O Country and online at kgcbroadcasting.com.
Dine in, carry out, or use their convenient drive-through window at Mitchell's Kitchen in Vail. You'll find Northbrook's finest in food. As a matter of fact, the finest food anywhere. And for a special treat, order one of their big bloomin' onions. From barbecue to fish to steaks, hamburgers and hot dogs, they've got it all at Mitchell's Kitchen in Vail. Open for breakfast, too. And be sure to like them on Facebook for their specials and Sunday lunch menus. And they do catering, no matter how big or how small. Call Mitchell's Kitchen, 704-276-1055, located at the intersection of Highway 27 West and 274 in Vail.
Some people don't know what a credit union is. It's not a secret club. In fact, the only secret about a credit union is that it's better than a bank. Carolina Federal Credit Union offers the area's best rates, lower fees, and better service.
I'm not just a number, I'm a member.
My credit union helped me get financially fit.
Our credit union helps our family out every day.
My credit union.
My credit union.
My credit union.
It's
Carolina Federal Credit Union.
Contact Carolina Federal Credit Union today and learn the secret firsthand.
It's time to get your lawnmower ready for spring by taking it to Hojo Power Sports and Equipment in Shelby. Get it serviced now and it'll be ready for spring. And Hojo Power Sports and Equipment services all makes and models, and pickup and delivery is available. Looking for a new mower? Right now get 0% financing on Ferris, Snapper, Walker, and Bobcat mowers. See them for all the details. Hojo Power Sports and Equipment, 110 Griggs Street off South Lafayette Street in Shelby.
All right, over here with it. Easy there. Great.
Rates are low today. The time is right to improve your home. We have home improvement loans and we're lending right now. Join your neighbors and friends and people all over our local communities who are improving the quality of their lives by improving the quality of their homes. We're an equal housing lender.
Carolina Trust Bank, member FDIC. Community-minded, just like you.
Kevin, Terry. Correction, thanks to a caller a couple minutes ago. South Point, the winner last night.
Sorry, David can't read.
South Point, the winner last night. Yeah, that's right. I can't even look at pictures. But if you will look across the top of the Gazette, you'll see Terry Reinhardt reported. No, just kidding.
It does say Forest View wins.
Just a mistake at the top of the page, and that's usually what you look for to get a quick score is the header. But
there's an editor being fussed at somewhere this morning.
Yeah.
Gabe.
Phil's not awake yet.
But as I say, it's not Phil's fault.
No,
He don't write the headlines.
Let him get awake and see the tweets he's got.
He writes the story.
Yeah, and then he'll see the headline. He'll realize the headline was put wrong. But common mistake. I mean, you see it in all newspapers.
Oh, we make mistakes. It just makes you so mad. Even on the especially on the front page.
Right.
Yeah, especially after it's printed.
We got 6 people sitting here, and not one of us saw that. It just man, it makes you mad. I'm sure they're upset over there.
Especially when you do so many different things and it comes out every day.
Yeah.
Somebody's half asleep.
The good news for them though, but the everyday thing, they got a new paper tomorrow. They'll without mistakes maybe.
Okay.
So we got to wait a week or two when we do
right.
it, so people see it for longer.
But anyway, South Point was the winner in that game. They did come from behind. They were down 15 points in the third quarter and came back to win that game, led by freshman guard Blake Ziesk. I hope I'm saying that right. Zieske, Blake Ziesk, 27 points for the freshman last night.
Yeah, he was 10 of 15 total. He was 6 of 10 from 3.
Good night of shooting the basketball. Good night.
We talked about the East Rutherford game in the first half. East was 7 of 14 from 2, right? Dawkins himself was 6 of 7 from 2. So the whole team in the first half was 1 of 7 from the field from 2. That tells you they were struggling. The first half was ugly last night.
They had a go-to guy for sure, didn't they?
Yeah, 18 points, 14 rebounds. He's a stud down there. Blocked a bunch of shots. I think he had 4 blocks, and have obviously affected a whole lot more.
I want to get into NBA scores here in a minute as it got cranked back up last night. I think we have one game Thursday night and then a whole bunch of games. 2 Thursday and a bunch last night. But first, we talked about this a minute while we're off the air. Folks by now probably heard the Big Ten is talking about making college freshmen ineligible.
Trying to take it back to the days.
And listen to this.
All sports?
1972.
No, throw this part out there. Football and basketball only.
Yeah, that's an agenda. How about
It's definitely a agenda, yeah.
I don't think you can do that unless you do it for all sports.
Yeah.
I mean, but, we talked about
if you did that to a women's sports, it'd be a Title IX lawsuit in a heartbeat. Sure. So how can you – a lot of the things the NCAA does –
unless you do it to all of
with
them.
their antitrust rule, with the antitrust laws and all the breaks they get, they do a lot of almost illegal / questionable stuff, and some of this is way for the wrong reasons.
But this is just one conference.
Yeah, the Big Ten.
And they're trying to get the Pac-12 to go in with them too. The Pac-12 they were in discussions with too. But for all the right reasons there are to do that, the wrong reason is you're going to lose a lot of recruits.
If everybody's doing it, you're not.
Right.
If you like we was talking about, you're probably you're going to lose to other conferences. But I don't know if it's going to be as many as you think. I mean, they can only go so many places. As far as these freshmen go, you're going to fill up. Spots, aren't you? I mean,
well, the only thing I said about it is like we said in between is the Big Ten. When you look at them, they do not have a lot of one and done freshmen that come in. I mean, a lot of their guys, basketball point, yeah. I mean, you got a lot of juniors and seniors on them squads, and to me, I think you take your top 200 picks, and if you're going to come in and you're one and done, you got to go to the Big Ten to understand what this is all about.
Only way that will work.
That'll never work. I know that.
Only way that will work if the NCAA was the official body, like it was an NFL, like it was an NBA, that schools drafted players versus where it's just
because I'm going to sit back and I'm going to ask you how many of us know these one and done players and I'm just going to say Duke, Carolina, UCLA,
Kentucky.
et cetera, et cetera. So, Kentucky. How many of them are even going to class?
You don't know.
You don't have to.
You don't have to know.
Yeah, you don't have to because if that's it, you don't have to go.
Look, but that's the loophole.
The whole deal is, though, Terry, if you tell me, here's your free ride to Ohio State, but you're setting your freshman year, here's your free ride to Florida State, you can play as a freshman. There's no doubt where I'm going.
I agree. There's no doubt.
I guarantee you one conference that won't be down with this, and that's the SEC. Not just from basketball with Kentucky standpoint, but look at the freshmen how they come in in football that make an impact.
What's the saddest thing about it is that none of these rule changes are doing it for the good of the students, for the good of the kids.
Nope.
Every single rule is about money, and I don't know, that's probably about it. And and as far as these kids,
yet they still won't pay them.
Yeah, and there's one school that's they're paying students to come to the games. So they're paying students to come to the games, and they can't even pay the kids that are making the money to come to be there. It's
Akron.
Okay.
Right?
Here's my question. Do you know what they ought to do? And this is me. They ought to sit back and say, if you're a freshman and you're coming in, like I'm gonna pick a Okafor. Just take his name. Say Okafor's coming to Duke. All right, if you're going to stay at Duke for 2 years, then you automatically entered in the NBA draft. If you do not stay for 2 years, then you're going to the D-League. And you're not going to make no money, but
now,
that's where you're going to go.
You do that for every freshman in America?
That's
every one of them.
Every
one of them.
These are separate institutions. The NBA controls itself. They make their rules for their draft. This is not the NCAA rule. That's this one. This is the NBA rule that you have to be 19 years old or 1 year removed from your high school graduating class.
Well, the reason I'm saying, because then a lot of these kids that are coming out goes, you know what, I'm going to stay in college 2 years.
But how many
because
kids,
nobody knows about the D-League.
How many kids come out after 1 year? How many? Let's just take an estimate. How many
15.
basketball? You think it's that many?
It's more than that.
Think more than 15 freshmen?
I think so.
Declare for the NBA draft.
I do.
I say between 20 and 30. I say between 20.
Duke's probably going to have 3
freshmen.
Yes.
Y'all are saying that many people?
Yes.
I mean, they only.
I have to go
can't
back
be
and
that
look-
many.
I
We
have
have
to
to
go
look
back
at
and
that.
look that up.
It's got to be closer to 10 at the most. I would think freshmen that declare for the NBA draft.
The scary part is there's only 2 rounds of the draft.
That's what I'm saying. There's
Yeah.
only 60 players, and these coaches, if you're not going to be picked in the first round, they're not advising you to go to the draft. They're saying stay in school. But do you make a rule like this for the Big Ten to cover those? I mean, we're going to cover every freshman in America, thousands and thousands and thousands of kids, over 10 to 30 kids. Why change the rule over 10 to 30 kids?
And Terry, back to what you were saying a moment ago about let's say you go. This is far fetched. Okay, you go to Stanford on an academic scholarship. See how far fetched that is. Okay, you go to Stanford on an academic scholarship. They're paying your way. You're 1 year into it, and somebody offers you a job making $2 million a year.
Yeah, I'm not dumb. I'm going to take the $2 million
Then
a year.
You can't blame the kids then either.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the reason it needs to be rules in set place, because that's how come, and people can sit back and cry about it. That's how come the NCAA, when you talk about March Madness, we can become so good. It keeps getting better because these teams who have seniors can beat these teams that have freshmen, because just on account of how long they've played and what they've learned and I don't know.
Terry,
I mean,
my team probably suffer from this rule more than anybody. Cause we got one and dones now, and they're gone every year.
Yeah, okay. Here's your deal.
I think
I
think
can't fault they got to go. I mean,
is Tyrese Jones ready?
Tyrese Jones.
You want to say no?
It ain't about if we think he's ready.
It don't matter if
now.
he's ready. That means nothing anymore.
It just matters if somebody will pay him to play basketball.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so there you go. So I'm already committed, and it's past my time. I cannot go back. But once I'm committed to the NBA, and then all of a sudden the draft comes up, I better hope I get picked in the second round, because if I do not,
you can develop more in the NBA because you can practice.
I'm gonna be a
6-8
walk-on
hours a day
somewhere
every day, and then in class in school you're limited to how much you can practice in a day. Plus in the NBA you're playing 80 games. So if if it's rocky for you year 1 and year 2, that's okay as long as you're ready to play by year 3. Then it paid off for these NBA teams.
I just pulled now. These are the kids that I just pulled from the 2011 NBA draft. College, the underclassmen.
But it don't tell if they were freshmen. Right?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Okay.
I counted. There were 11 freshmen highlighted by Kyrie Irving in that draft class. Right there. From that, that's just from.
I was thinking 10 to 15.
Right.
I mean,
I've said 15 just as a round number, but I mean, I'm just looking at.
But my point with that
how many
is,
will Kentucky have
well,
this year?
my point of that was why make a rule over those? Why make a rule that affects every fresh? I can't play sports because Kyrie Irving wants to go pro after 1 year. That's just dumb. I mean, fresh. It doesn't. It any. If it's the NBA's fault, of course. Like Jason said, with that 19 rule, and the NFL's fault with their 3-year rule. If you can play and get paid, shouldn't you? That's America. In any other job, in any other anything, no matter how old you are,
exactly.
If you can do it and somebody will pay you for it, you can do it.
Yeah,
but I'm paying you tons of money, and you're not ready as a freshman coming in.
That's your fault.
That's
you
your
are
fault
not ready
as an organization. You shouldn't.
Wiggins,
pick that person.
it was not ready for the NBA.
Why'd they pick him?
Terry, he wasn't ready, but he's leading all rookies in scoring.
I know.
Well, okay, rookies. There you go, rookies. rookies.
But you want to compare him. He's leading all rookies in scoring, man. He's had his, I think it's 17, 20-plus point game.
He's not supposed to come in as a freshman and be the best player of the year, not as a rookie, and not be the best player in the NBA by no means.
No, yeah.
All he wants
Takes
to do
7
is come
years.
in and be that best freshman,
Yes.
or be that
Eventually
best rookie.
gonna
Best
be
rookie.
the
First
best.
5 years, you're just trying to find a
And
place,
and
find a
these
value.
rules, you know, all these rules were put in place to protect GMs, to protect scouts, because they couldn't do a good
they
job.
kept being
They were-
idiots. Yep.
especially in the NBA.
You're
All these
right.
scouts are, I got to draft this high school. I got to draft this high school.
You're
We're
right.
thinking we're going to have the next Kobe
We keep
Bryant
drafting
system.
these 6'10" guys that can jump out of the gym, but they can't slant. They can't even shoot a layup or a free throw. You got
Okay.
DeAndre Jordan out there looking.
So
like
you're
a
talking
fool.
about this. So you're going to say any freshman that comes in and the football part of it's ready for the NFL.
I didn't say that.
No.
I did
Oh,
not.
okay, what's the difference?
Terry, what we're saying is we're not saying they're ready to play and be a star in the NFL. They're ready to make a roster. They're ready. They're ready.
We're just saying it ought to be their choice.
ready-
They want to make.
They're
a
not
living.
ready to be Michael Jordan or Dan Marino. They're ready to make a team. You mean you're telling me Adrian Peterson couldn't play in the NFL as a freshman?
No.
Terry,
There's no way.
He wasted how many carries in college getting beat up? Todd Gurley. You don't think he could play? You don't think he's better than Joseph Randall for the Cowboys?
No.
Panthers got down to what running back this year? Fifth one. Do you think they'd like to have Todd Gurley?
Mm-hmm.
He's not better than any of
No.
those above him. He's not better than any of those.
Terry's
NFL.
really going to love Gurley. He's projected to go to Seattle.
Yeah, Marshawn Lynch
Beast mode's back
contemplating retirement.
for a year. Yep.
What was the scores? I know who was.
Got to move on, guys. We really do. Last night
We need to
in
talk about
NBA,
the trades too.
Yeah, Orlando beat New Orleans 95-84. Indiana over Philly 106-95. Toronto over Atlanta 105-80.
Ooh, that was
That's
number
a
one,
pretty
number
big
two
win.
seeds
Yeah,
there,
at
yeah.
Atlanta too. Detroit beat Chicago 100-91. What's got in the Pistons lately? I've been saying wins for them.
They got Van Gundy's getting rid of all the
Is he?
bad cogs.
Yeah, and then he's got a guy. He traded for a guy that wants to be there. Well, he's just
Who'd they get back?
They got Reggie Jackson.
Yeah,
Reggie,
yeah.
Reggie Schmurder Jackson. If you know the rapper Bobby Schmurder, that's
Yeah,
Reggie Jackson.
he'll probably I think he'll do good there.
Only
with
Reggie
Van
Jackson I know
Gundy.
swung a bat. Also, the Chris Bosh-less Miami Heat beat New York Knicks last night 111-87.
Speaking of Chris Bosh,
That's
you hear
a sad
yeah,
story.
you know
It is.
he was complaining of chest pains. Went to the doctor and they're suspecting that he may have blood clots in his lungs. And if you know Jerome Kersey, former Portland Trailblazer, just died the other night.
The
He
same
died from a
thing.
blood clot in his lung. Didn't know?
It's pretty scary.
Yeah, so they're still.
But they're
waiting on
saying
doctors.
his is non-life threatening. Now, I don't know how they know that or how it's not.
But supposedly, if it is determined that he has the blood clot,
They
the
talk to God, I guess.
the medication that he's supposed to take, you're supposed to have 6 months of no physical activity. You know, like so
Right.
his season.
That's
will
not
be
good
over
for a
this season.
basketball player at all.
So
I might just consider retirement, period, if I'm in his shoes. Minnesota beat Phoenix 111-109. How many Wiggins have, Terry? Cleveland
Probably
beat
don't
Washington.
nobody knows. See,
Cleveland,
there's the problem.
He's not ready.
Nobody
Cleveland
knows.
127, Washington 89. Dallas over Houston 111-100. Milwaukee over Denver 89-81. Utah beat Portland 92-76. Sacramento over Boston 109-101. Golden State beat San Antonio. This was the highlight game of the night, of course. Yeah, Golden State, a 110-99 winner. And Brooklyn beats the Lakers last night 114-105.
Wiggins only had 20 last night.
Just
He's
20.
not ready.
yeah.
That's a down night.
Well, he's
Kevin,
not
you
a freshman right now. He's played over half the year.
He's a sophomore.
Well, there you go. They all get to that point.
But now he's on whose team? Okay,
But didn't he
never
average-
mind.
but
There's
didn't he average
nobody
about
else
the-
over there.
Didn't he average about the same thing at Kansas?
Yeah. Name me the rest of their starters.
Ricky Rubio.
Okay, okay.
Levine.
Name me
Zach
somebody
Levine.
else.
Kevin Martin.
Name me
reading
somebody
it.
else.
And Nikola Pekovic.
Name me
He
somebody
had
else.
16. Kevin Martin had 28. Ricky
These are not
Rubio had
elite
10
NBA
points,
players, so
14
forget it.
assists.
Hold on, Kev.
Anthony Bennett, number 1 pick.
Hold on.
Anthony Bennett. He's
Terry,
been nothing
Terry.
ever since he come.
You know who's coming back to Minnesota, right? KG's
Yeah,
back.
KG.
He's back, y'all.
That's right.
He's back.
Then you'll be able to name one. Then you'll be able to name one of their starters. Kevin, you mentioned you want to talk about the trades a little bit this week, and there were some.
Way to go, Hornets. Don't do nothing.
A few significant trades in the NBA. You guys will have to help me with the young man's name. That's went to
Gordon
Miami.
Dragic.
Dragic.
Yes.
Dragic.
Yeah.
Him and his brother.
That's
Yeah,
going to
Zoran
Miami.
too.
He was the most talked about guy
He
on
was.
trade day.
Well,
And then
he
when
forced
Bosh
his
went
hand.
down, that really
Yeah.
He
hurt.
forced his hand. Goran Dragic was going to be a free agent at the end of the season. He come out a few weeks back saying he told he's not going to resign because he doesn't trust management.
Would you if you sign with them and then they can trade it for 2 more point guards?
Exactly. Yeah. You know.
What are y'all doing? Dragic
he
is
does-
nasty. He's good.
He told him he wants to go to either New York, LA, or Miami.
Yep.
That's his preferred places, and so they traded him to Miami along with his brother. So him and his brother both going to. So Dragic is like, look, man, I gotta get out of Arizona. I can go to
Mm-hmm.
Go to Miami, South Beach. Let me go.
Stay in a warm area too.
Mm-hmm. So that's what he forced to hand.
Miami. I mean, if Bosch is healthy, they've got a great chance to win the East. They really
They're
do.
in that 8. Well, maybe with Detroit winning now. I think it's between them and Detroit for that 8 spot, and Charlotte. Because Charlotte, I know going into last night, they all had the same record. Detroit,
Yeah, and don't forget Brooklyn too. They everybody was thinking they were going to trade Brook Lopez to the Thunder, but they never got that deal done. So they still have Brook Lopez with them too.
But the key is, can Brook Lopez stay healthy? Kevin Garnett waived his no trade clause.
He did.
Miami's in the 7 right now. Charlotte 8, Brooklyn 9, and Detroit 10. Detroit's tied at 10 with Indiana too.
Yeah, Detroit traded DJ Augustine to Oklahoma City for Reggie Jackson.
Right.
So Reggie Jackson, there, he started the year for Oklahoma City when Russell Westbrook was hurt, and he's been frustrated that he wasn't getting as much playing time that Westbrook come back, and he didn't want to be there.
And they got Deion Waiters. That took his time away too. But they got the good trade for Oklahoma City was when they got Cantor now at center, and they haven't had anybody that can score down low in a while.
Also,
since Ibaka decided he wasn't an inside player no more.
Serge said he about them threes now. But also Detroit traded Singler to Oklahoma City. That was part of that package too. Kyle Singler going to Oklahoma City. So Oklahoma City's basically, these trades strengthen their second unit right now. That's what they're doing, trying to get that 8 spot, if not 7.
Also, a couple more point guards were traded. Rookie of the year last year, Michael Carter Williams was traded to the Bucks, which is a pretty big deal. The Bucks have come out of nowhere, had a great year. And Isaiah Thomas is going to Boston.
Yep.
Another pretty big deal for the Celtics. So
he's getting old, isn't
he? He was only drafted a couple years ago.
He's David talking about the original Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah Thomas.
But Michael Carter Williams going to Milwaukee. Milwaukee traded Brandon Knight to Phoenix. So Phoenix got rid of 2 point guards and pick up Brandon Knight. Michael Carter Williams going to Phoenix going to Milwaukee. Jason Kidd, if you look at that roster,
they're going
to be loaded with young talent there. With MCW, you had
I love Jonas.
Jabari, who's hurt.
I love Jonas.
Jabari.
And Jabari's playing way better than I thought he would in the NBA. I have to give him credit for that.
Giannis, like I said, also John Henson still. They got a good young nucleus of team.
All right, Terry, let's play GM of the Celtics, Mr. Isaiah Thomas over here, and no Wiggins. If I offered you Andrew Wiggins for Evan Turner.
Well, we probably would take that.
Now he's taking them, Jason.
Anyone would take that.
I mean, but you got to look at our team.
Better than everybody on your
team. The best player that we had, Prince, and we just got rid of him. I mean, and that's bad, but because
Tyler
he
Zeller
was probably the best player that we had.
He had 22 points.
But don't sleep on what Boston has done. I mean, they've eventually turned these to get rid of losing the big 3 in their core. And all these they flipped it into getting Tyler Zeller. They flipped it in drafting James Young. Got a Kentucky last year. Marcus Smart.
Yeah. And that's why we keep trading, because we do not want to be in the playoffs. Every time we make a move,
Terry,
we get better.
Where are they at?
I thought they traded Marcus.
We're
Smart.
out now. We're out right now.
They had drafted him there, but then they just traded him. No, Marcus Smart. He got hurt.
I thought he was part of the trades this week. I missed.
Marcus Thornton was the guy.
We do not want to be in no playoffs.
No, not with that team.
Okay, the texts are rolling in. Please, you only have an hour left. Get off the NBA.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, my gosh. Whoever said that, grow up. It's a good sport and find something else to talk about. Good grief.
And his name is Kevin Hastings.
I don't care. And I'll call that's stupid. Way better than college basketball.
We'll be back with more sports talk
take that
in a moment.
The grand opening and the live radio remote broadcast of the new Buddy's Furniture on East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby, scheduled for this Saturday, has been canceled and rescheduled for Saturday, March 7th from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. Join us then for the grand opening of the new Buddy's Furniture in Shelby. Do you have a lot of old medications piling up? Well, most people do. Then get rid of them and do it safely. Drop off your old medications at the new medication drop box located inside Falston Pharmacy in Falston. All medications will be disposed of by the Cleveland County Sheriff's Department. It's easy. Just clean out your medicine cabinet, bring them in the Falston Pharmacy, and drop them in the box. Falston Pharmacy, Highway 18 north of Falston.
Tuesdays and Thursdays are special days at Love's Fish Box on Shelby Road in Kings Mountain. On Tuesday from 4 to 9 p.m., come in and enjoy calabash shrimp with all the trimmings for only $6.99. And on Thursdays from 4 to 9 p.m., it's their hamburger steak plate for $5.99. And they pile it on big. Bring the family out for the best in seafood. Ask for the Tuesday and Thursday specials from 4 to 9 p.m. at Love's Fish Box on Shelby Road in Kings Mountain.
S&M Sports Shop is your dealer for Under Armour sports apparel in Cleveland County. Come by and see the selection of Under Armour shirts, shorts, shoes, socks, and sunglasses. S&M is also your team outfitter for all local schools in whatever sport you play. They have letter jackets for all local high schools. Plus, S&M is your headquarters for Oakley Sunglasses. For all your athletic needs, go to S&M Sports Shop. They're located at 707 South Lafayette Street in Shelby.
Kyle Carroll, a senior and member of the football team at Burns High School, is the McDonald's WHS What's Up Shopper Scholar Athlete of the Month. Kyle has earned a 4.58 grade point average at Burns while taking numerous advanced placement and honors classes. Kyle is a member of the National Honor Society, Beta Club, and Future Teachers of America. Upon graduation from Burns, Kyle plans to attend Washington Lee University and major in biology. Kyle is the son of Wendy and Chris Carroll of Kings Mountain. He's a member of Patterson Grove Baptist Church. Among his community activities, Kyle is a Boy Scout and has been a volunteer with the Salvation Army. The McDonald's WHS What's Up Shopper Scholar Athlete Award is sponsored by the McDonald's restaurants in Shelby and Kings Mountain, WHS Radio, and the What's Up Shopper. The purpose of the award is to recognize a student athlete not only for accomplishments in athletics, but also for achievements in the classroom and for overall school and community citizenship. Congratulations to Kyle Carroll of Burns High School, the McDonald's WHS What's Up Shopper Scholar Athlete of the Month.
The money you save in your savings accounts earns interest, so it just makes sense to have your checking account also earn interest for you. A money market checking account pays interest and also offers the flexibility of writing checks. Certain fees may apply.
Carolina Trust Bank, member FDIC. Community minded just like you.
Community minded, just like you. Country Countdown USA.
I'm Lon Helton, inviting you to join me as we count down the week's top 30 with Darius Rucker, who played a pretty cool gig right after the Super Bowl.
Actually played the Patriots victory party.
Did you really?
Yeah. It was one of those great nights as a sports fan for me. I got to touch the Lombardi Trophy for the first time.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, that was nice.
That's Darius Rucker this week on Country Countdown USA.
Country Countdown USA with Lon Hilton, Friday afternoons 1 to 4, right here at Big O Country and online at kdcbroadcasting.com. The Spring into Savings Sales event is underway now at Campers Inn in Kings Mountain. Now's the time to come on in and save thousands of dollars. You'll find the best selection ever. Hundreds of new and used RVs on site with easy financing available. Brand new travel trailers starting at $11,995 and big Class A motorhomes starting at $69,995. See Brian Good today at Campers Inn, exit 8 off I-85, Highway 161 South in Kings Mountain. The Spring into Savings Sale event is underway at Campers Inn, where customers always come first.
What about NASCAR?
About said giggity.
I do want to mention one thing. I'm glad we back because I want to mention one thing I saw over Thursday night. I'm sitting here and I'm watching on television and I flip over and it's Auburn playing Ole Miss, y'all, in girls basketball.
Okay.
Well, there's nobody in the stadium at all. But when I'm sitting there and they flip to the crowd, it shows about 8 people, and I'm telling you, 6 of them had their phone in front of them, messing with their phone. Ain't a soul watching the game. Mm-hmm. They're all in their phone.
Yep. Man, like, I just got to be here.
I can't even comment on that, Terry.
Well, I'm telling you.
I'm afraid I'll comment the wrong way.
Terry, but how long did you stay on the channel?
Not long. That's exactly right. Not long, because I'm like, if they don't care, why should I be here?
I didn't know if you had a bet on the game or whatnot.
No.
Watching it for gambling purposes only or whatnot.
That's what I'm trying to figure out, how the remote stopped on the women's basketball game in the first place.
Well, see, it really flipped me out because I just flipped
I was going to say, especially.
Not UConn or Tennessee. We're going to watch Ole Miss.
Or an ACC game or any of that. But, you know, I already forgot who you said. Auburn. So
against Ole Miss.
Barkley was playing
and it was
against
at
Eli
Auburn.
Manning.
It really got me amazed, you know. And then when they flipped up in the stand, this shows 8 people, and 6 of them are on their phone. I mean, they're not even watching the game. And I'm like, amazing. This is what America has come to.
Kevin pointed at the NASCAR logo on the thing here. This is Daytona 500
Yes,
weekend.
it is.
It is.
The racing season does get underway. Is there a preliminary race tonight of any kind?
The-
I'm sure there's got to be something.
The Xfinity series.
Yeah,
That's
they've
Is that what
changed
it's called?
names again.
Xfinity?
series now.
It's gonna be hard to remember.
And then Hendrick Motorsports, first 3 spots on
They did.
on Daytona.
And the number 4 guy's 13th. So
Hey,
Who ended up fourth? Was that Kane?
yeah, Casey Kane.
Case Kane's 13th.
Jeff Gordon, his last season racing full time on the pole for the.
I will be going to one of the races this year at least to see him one last time. Usually-
Fastest time in track speed yesterday, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yep, look for him to try to
And
repeat.
Jimmy
He's
won.
starting third.
Jimmy won a duel. Junior won a duel. So there's two.
They
maybe
kinda
What
three.
did, what
sweat.
did Dale Jr. buy this week that his girlfriend is all over the news scolding him?
I didn't click on the link.
I think it was something
Joe.
about a lottery
Y'all
ticket.
know what I'm talking about, though, right?
I saw the headline that she yelled
Lottery
at me about
tickets?
something.
Yeah, like he was getting a lottery ticket for himself.
He
And
needs to leave those lottery tickets to us people.
She got mad at him.
Yeah, so he
Are
was
they, they're
gonna
not
give,
married yet, are they?
Nope.
No.
Well,
he was
going
gonna
to
give the money away anyway
I can't
after
even buy a
she said
lottery
that.
ticket without getting fussed at. He makes how many millions? He could buy her how many ever lottery tickets she wants, and she's going to complain to him about.
I don't know what
wow.
she does or her worth.
It doesn't matter.
But don't complain to him about how he spends.
That's
his money.
exactly right.
No.
Because you're liable to be history.
And
yeah.
us four are in
Hey,
line to be next.
One word, Jason. Prenup.
Well, I'm about to say the next song if at his club he'll be playing is K Camp. It ain't nothing to cut that chick off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He already
Not
said
edited chick, you
he already
know?
said he's allergic to jewelry.
Mm-mm. All right,
Wow.
guys. I want to run into look at some of the ACC basketball and some of the TV schedule today. We'll go through the standings real quick. Georgia Tech at North Carolina today at high noon. Pittsburgh at Syracuse also today at noon. If I see any other highlight games, I'll mention those as well. But it doesn't look like it's really a great day as far as the matchups go. K-State at Baylor. West Virginia, Oklahoma State. Notre Dame's at Boston College. There's your ACC game. That one's this afternoon at 4 o'clock. Clemson and Duke also at 4 o'clock today on ESPN. TCU at Kansas.
That's a waste of time.
Virginia Tech at NC State. Terry, you tell me you're concerned about that one.
Yeah, we'll probably get beat. I don't know whether we can play with Virginia Tech. I'm going to say this every week. If State plays like they did last Saturday.
In trouble?
No, they won.
They won. They beat Louisville.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to say this every week.
I forgot about it. He told me last week he's going to use the reverse psychology from here on. I forgot.
Poor Mal to know that.
Sounds like football. Georgia at Alabama tonight at 8 o'clock. And then Gonzaga, we're looking just a second. Where are they ranked now?
Are they 3?
Third.
Yeah, number 3.
Gonzaga at St. Mary's. That's your 10 o'clock game.
And the biggest
tonight.
ACC game is not on television.
And it's
Miami at Louisville.
Is that today?
Yes.
Or tomorrow?
That's today.
I'm sorry, I skipped it, Terry. 2 o'clock.
Oh,
2
okay.
o'clock.
I was
Thank
getting
you.
ready to say,
Thank
to me,
you.
that's
Thank
the
you.
biggest ACC
It could be one of
game
those
today.
things that when I see Louisville, I still can't comprehend
Yeah.
ACC at this point.
Like Syracuse, Louisville, that was an ACC
Yeah.
game. I'm like, what in the world?
Yeah. Great, yeah.
That was a Big East matchup just a few years ago.
I know, right?
Well, status quo, guys. Virginia's still leading the way, 12-1. They're finding a way to win. I mean, they're winning those ugly
it's over.
one-point games.
It's over.
It should be with their schedule left. Notre Dame 11-3, Duke 10-3, Louisville, North Carolina, Syracuse all sitting at 8-5. Miami's at 7-6. Clemson, Florida State, both 7-7. Pitt and NC State 6-7. And then it's just terrible after that. It's hard to even look at. Wake 4-10, Georgia Tech 3-11, Virginia Tech 2-11, Boston College 1-12. None of those four I just mentioned even have a winning overall record either. Of course, if you suffer that many losses in conference play, it's going to be hard to pull it up outside the conference. We'll talk a little bit about this.
I mean, Boston College is 8-4 outside the conference. It must be awesome.
You'd
I bet they got a tough schedule, huh?
You'd think, yeah. Playing Boston U, Harvard.
College sports. We play a bunch of JV teams and high school teams and talk about how great you are.
Harvard probably would beat them.
Harvard,
They would.
They would. That's one of their 4.
Yeah.
one of the 4 out-of-conference losses. All right, guys, talk a little bit about it. We talked about it off the air. Duke and North Carolina met again the other night. Instant classic?
Yeah, it was. Man, I mean, I was only there's 2 instances I got mad. I'm a Carolina fan that I got mad at. One, there in the second half, Carolina's dominating down low. The big man, They just dominated for a 10-minute
Joel
stretch. James went off in the first half. You know,
He was shoving Okafor
He
for
did
a
play
round.
good early.
Yeah,
he played
did.
good early.
But
I thought it was LeBron James after a few minutes.
I got mad with 2 back-to-back possessions when the guards, Britt and Barry, had that. Well, I ain't got my touches. I got to get my shots up, and they jack up threes. And Roy on the sideline didn't even pull him out.
They should cut Nate Britt today.
Not gonna happen.
I cannot stand. I'm a Tar Heel fan. I can't stand him. I've oh my gosh. The only other person I've not liked more than him is Chris Lang. That was personal basketball reasons. But Britt just go ahead. I don't get me started on Britt.
No, so that instant there as the head coach, you seen where the inside was working. Those 2 guys jack up threes on back-to-back possessions. You got to go have a seat.
Oh
all
my
right.
gosh.
And then the other one, when it's 17 seconds, game's tied. Carolina has 3 timeouts in their bag, and
Never used one.
Hicks get the lemon booty at the free throw line, gets the ball in hand, free throw freezes up, and like call timeout and regroup. And he forces a pass to Takoto, who shoots that jump shot and misses.
Well, he knows he'll get taken out of the game if he calls one of Roy's timeouts. Roy coaches with them timeouts like he gets paid. He gets bonus money.
Gets to carry him next
if he
game.
he gets $10,000 for every timeout he keeps after the end of the game.
So those 2 instances, that's what I got mad about. But other than that, when Carolina was up by 9 with 2 minutes to go, I'm like, I wasn't comfortable. I'm tweeting, chatting with my frat brothers. Like, look, man, this about to get a lemon booty moment. I can feel the lemon booty coming on, and then bam, there it was.
But I'm going to tell you the truth, and this is me, and I'm not a Carolina fan. But when Carolina's up by 10, and I'll go back to the Dean Smith era,
why are they not running the
Guthrie
clock?
era, Matt Doherty era, Carolina's not getting beat because they got too good of guards for that to happen. These guards want to come down and fire it up. That makes no sense to me. Carolina, you lost the game. You was up by 10 with 3 minutes and 15 seconds to go. And no Carolina team I've ever seen have come down and fire a shot up.
It was 9 minutes. It was 9 with like 2 minutes left in the game that they were up.
I have never seen a Carolina team that shoots so quickly.
But let me ask you this, though, okay? They got behind early.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah, they were bad.
Were you not pleased with the way they played?
Yeah, they came. Yeah, I mean, they
From
stuck with their
five,
strength.
yeah.
They stuck with their
They
strength.
played hard.
Down.
You know what they did? They had just been beaten pretty bad by Pitt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a few days earlier. Then all of a sudden you're down. I don't know what it was, but 19-6.
Yeah.
You know, I mean something like that.
They were down 13 early. They were down 13 points.
So, but they could have threw in the towel. You know what I mean? I mean, but they didn't. I mean, they kept doing what they thought would help get them better, and they did what they have an advantage on Duke is, you know, the 3 big men like you mentioned earlier, Jason. They used those big men down low. They scored. They outscored Duke.
They had 60-some points in the paint.
Right, they outscored Duke by 20 in the paint. Just in the paint, they outscored them.
Carolina's
by 20.
awful good in the paint if they continue to go there.
I thought
constantly.
No, I thought they played one of their better games.
It was. If you look at all the aspects, you dominated.
They
down
did.
low.
Their coach had one of his worst games.
You dominated. Roy got stubborn. You dominated down low. Your best player was shut down. He was here. I threw out a milk carton because he was missing. Marcus Page was
that's
missing.
a total shame. I mean, he's getting who guarded him? Quinn Cook.
Quinn Cook shut him down. Ain't gonna lie.
And if you've got to rethink yourself in Carolina, how good do you think Marcus Page is? If Quinn Cook kept him from even touching the ball, that was the most frustrating thing. You can't not touch the ball. I've been face guarded. Everybody's been face guarded in a box and one. You run and go get the ball. You don't stand in the corner. You don't go. You run and go get the ball.
Off a pitch. You come off a double picks.
One other thing he did too.
Whatever
I only remember Page going to the hole one time. Yeah. You know, I mean, he did eliminate that.
He actually got like 17 shots up or 11 shots up. I never saw any of them.
And then the other aspect of if he's being denied the ball off ball, why not have him initiate the offense and bring the ball up court?
Bring the ball. You're exactly right. That's how you beat it. You can't face guard him if he's got the ball.
But you go shout out to Tyus Jones. He went Marshawn Lynch and put the team on his back.
If
that performance he did in that last 3
the way
minutes.
Marcus Page played and the way he played, I would trade Marcus Page for Tyus Jones in a heartbeat right now.
I told Mike
See how many
Powell
Carolina
was asking
fans will
me
say
about
that.
Mike Powell was asking me about Duke playing today without Okafor, most likely. I don't think he's playing. I hadn't heard for sure.
He's got a boot on.
Right.
He's going to play with
and
a boot.
And it's not a cowboy boot either. But I told Mike, I said, look, Duke has still got the best player in the country on the court.
Yeah, because Tyus Jones is going to play like that the rest of the season. They're going to be tough.
He's done that in their 4 big road
He's
games.
aggressive.
But I'm going to say you something.
He rebounds well. I mean, he can't be 6 feet tall. I think he's probably 5'10", but he rebounds.
It's all about how hard you play.
I've heard it from both ends, and I've kind of said Duke fans are saying if this happens, and Carolina fans saying, well, we did all this. Well, I'm going to tell you what. If Okafor could hit a foul shot,
But he can't, Terry.
Yeah,
That's
he
part of the
cannot.
game.
Neither
Right.
can Carolina.
That's part of the game.
And he's going to be the
Our whole team
number
can't hit a
one
free throw.
pick, y'all. He's going to be the number
He
one
is.
pick and cannot hit a free throw.
Roy Williams is a basketball coach that everybody says he's great and everything. He has no idea how to teach people how to. I guess he doesn't know
The
you can
fundamentals.
practice free throws. He doesn't know that you can shoot 3-pointers, and he doesn't know that you can call timeouts. I mean, I can make a list of things Roy Williams did wrong in that game and get close to 15 to 20.
Listen to this, guys.
He's always been an
Aaron
in-game
Grooms,
bad
you guys
coach.
know Aaron. Aaron's a big Carolina fan. I talked to him the day after the game. I saw him at lunch, and he was talking about it. He said, I think it was him telling me, but he said, Carolina has the worst percentage or the highest percentage in the country of teams that shoot shots, not in the paint, but not behind the three-point line. The worst shot you can take in college basketball
Or any basketball.
is a two-pointer that's not
Outside
in the
the
paint.
paint.
And Carolina has the highest percentage of any team in the country of taking those shots.
Mid-range. Basically, they're
Mid-range
mid-range
shots.
That's that offense,
Take a
y'all.
step
I'm telling
back and make it a three.
In the second,
Yeah.
in the Carolina secondary in the secondary break, it is all designed to go to the big man. I played in this offense. The point guards, when they're center jacking it up, they're not supposed to shoot it. So when they're jacking it up, that's against what Roy's teaching. Now, what it's supposed to be, it's designed for the big man to shoot as many shots as they want, wherever they want. If the big man gets the ball in that offense, they're supposed to shoot it wherever they're at, and they're shooting these. You're talking about how terrible they are. So Roy hasn't adjusted to the 3-point game. We're still doing the Carolina State. The break's okay, but you've got to be able to shoot free throws and drive off of that. The pass. I mean, against some teams, it's just going to come back to haunt you, and it did for Roy, and it does a lot of times in his in-game coaching. He's always been a good recruiter. He's always been a
great recruiter.
Okay in-game basketball coach. I mean, how many times has he let a team get up 20 without calling a timeout? That'll make you just, ugh.
He's got that Phil Jackson mindset.
He don't care.
Yeah, last week against Pittsburgh.
And then now he's
Yeah.
recruiting isn't that
go.
good because you got Nate Britt on the floor who don't know what hand to shoot with.
Grantland had a great article or how it's flipped the script in the series between Duke and Carolina. It used to be Carolina that would the dominating pro guys,
Right.
But now in the last 10 years or so, it's been Duke that's flipped that has the more pros. And if you go back and look at it, Carolina has not had a player come from Carolina that has been a legitimate NBA superstar since Vincent Jameson.
Yeah.
Since that 98
Right.
group, since Vincent Jameson.
And I will say this too about his recruiting. Now, how much does he have to recruit? Because the name on the shirt recruits a lot.
I know. I mean, you can look at that too. I mean,
and you're talking about his coaching. He's never been known as a real good game manager.
He's not.
Even at Kansas, he was not a real good game manager.
Run the fast break, run the secondary break. That's all he does.
And he believes in preparation. And to that,
And it works, and it beats 90% of the teams.
Right,
it does.
And also, guys, he likes to run. And a lot of times your running teams don't coincide with three-point shooting.
No, they don't.
You're getting the more athletic people to fly up and down the floor who are not good shooters.
Now, for him, he thought he had his three-point shooter who he recruited was in Justin Jackson. He just ain't been able to shoot. He can't shoot.
Speaking of him, he starts the game for 5 minutes, doesn't play the rest of the first half. He starts the second half for 5 minutes, doesn't play the rest of the second half. Then we go to overtime. Roy starts him. He ain't even played 15 minutes. He's been sitting over on the bench not doing nothing. He's only played 10 in the game. Roy starts him in overtime. Tokuto didn't even play the last 5 minutes. They took him out and put Joel Berry in. Why is Tokuto almost had a triple-double up until that point, defensive-wise.
Most athletic player
on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
That's what kept Carolina in the game is Tokuto was the he decided in that game, nobody on this court can out-athletic me, and I'm going to take it. He played hard.
Until he took that 15-foot jump shot when he had
Right.
coming out on
It's
him.
funny because that's the
But
shot
he
that
can't
sticks
shoot.
in my mind.
There's that
Right.
shot.
He
He can't
can't. He
shoot.
can't go behind the three-point line.
He's gotta
he'll
take it
hit
to the rack.
one out of what? 10
One out of-
maybe.
yeah, 1 out of 10. He's like,
That's all.
But then again, I don't know.
You got Okafor who's got
For a lot of your shooters, the mid-range shot's harder than the three.
You got Okafor who's got a bad ankle coming out on you. You take him, you right there at the baseline, drive to the basket, and try to get a call.
There was a lot of mental mistakes Carolina's way, but then again, let's not take anything away from Duke.
No.
They played
No.
hard. The Tyson, the kid.
Well, the part that gets me though, Kevin, you point out your teams what you don't like,
Yeah.
and mine is, and Brett says I'm too negative every time I watch a game. He don't
Yeah.
even like watching it with me.
I don't like
because
watching with Dad. He's
but-
negative too.
Then you?
Well,
but see,
this
Brett-
year, I'm just some teams I love. I mean, it's just some teams and players that Carolina
But
had
you
just
mentioned
can't like. I
what,
mean,
what
it's
gets
just
me. You
aggravating.
mentioned Duke playing hard. I don't think Duke teams play hard till they have to.
Yeah.
You know, they got outplayed the whole game
They
by
did.
Carolina
And
for the
then
last
till the
3
end.
minutes.
You're right.
They realize desperate situation. If we don't play hard, we ain't got a chance of winning this. And they play hard. And I think they, I told Aaron, Duke won the game because they have more talent. Carolina
look
played
at the
harder.
backcourt. Look at the backcourt.
Carolina played harder, a lot harder.
Yeah, their
Marcus
backcourt.
Page.
That's
should be
where I
ashamed
said
of
it come down to
himself.
your guard play. I've never seen a Carolina team who blows a 10-point lead with 3 minutes to go.
The other thing with Duke, this is the first time I sat and watched a full Duke game all the way through. Duke and Carolina. Usually other time I'll sit there, I'll see who they're playing, watch for a few minutes and move it up, keep it moving. But this, I did not know Duke only had 8 scholarship players on their team.
Yep.
So that's their rotation. Those 8 guys.
They got no depth.
Yeah.
And problems for Carolina. This is the third time in the last 5 years against Duke that they've blown a lead. Of course, in the second half,
Louisville was one, right? Had a 15-point lead on Louisville.
Well, just against Duke. I mean, you had the one a couple of years ago when Austin Rivers hit that game-winning shot. They were down. They were down by a dozen points, and of course, about 2011 when Duke had its greatest comeback, I think, of school history, when Nolan Smith led them to a big victory over Carolina. So that's a pretty big problem with Carolina against Duke, and they've lost 9 of the last 12 against Duke.
It's called getting the lemon booty.
It's called Roy Williams. And I'm sorry. And
but
I know I'm making
everybody's hard on Roy, but who? Okay, I heard my frat
I
brothers.
don't- who you gonna
Carolina
get?
fans.
Well,
Who's gonna replace Roy?
My next question was going to be,
I don't know.
his time is winding down. Krzyzewski's time is winding down. Who's the leading candidates
Well, it's
to
gonna be
replace
Jeff
these
Capel.
two guys?
Jeff
Is
Capel or
it?
Chris Collins, one of those. And then
I think it's somebody that they've sent away. Well, Capel
Johnny
did go
Dawkins,
away
you
for a
think?
while.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody's
I
going to
think-
be a head coach a while and come back.
Wojciechowski.
I don't know.
It'll be one of the. For
But
Carolina,
they have choices.
Yes, they do.
Does Carolina have
Well,
choices?
okay. For Carolina,
Lebo.
if Carolina likes to keep it.
Jeff
in the,
Lebo.
Carolina likes to keep it in the Carolina family. So these are the guys that they have out there now that's coaching. You have Lebo at ECU. You've had Buzz Peterson that's had head coach experience. I don't think he's coaching even right now. You have King Rice who's coaching right now.
I didn't know King was coaching.
Yes, he's coaching. You have Roy's a guy that played for Roy under at Kansas and came with him to Carolina's assistant, Gerard Hayes, who's at UAB. So you have those guys as far as if you're going to keep it in there.
Larry Brown is still coaching.
Larry Brown. George Carl just went back to the
George Carl's still coaching. We still got some of the oldies that's still out there. But when you look at Roy, you start thinking about his in-game coaching, how's he been the last few years, and you're like, well, he's got 2 national championships. Well, do those kids go to class? Do that? There's a lot of questions you can put around a Roy Williams.
What year
time.
did he get his first one?
05.
05 with
Yeah,
Sean
that was
Mack.
Matt
What year at
Doherty's pick.
Carolina? That's what I'm asking. Were they his players?
No, those were
That was
Matt Doherty's
the stars
players.
of those teams was recruited by Doherty.
First
That's
year.
what
That's
shot
exactly
McCants,
right.
McCants, May, and Felton, Manuel, Scott, all those guys. And then the 09 class was his
Right.
guy. Was
Those were
Lawson,
his.
Lawson,
Green,
Hansberg,
Lawson,
Green.
yeah.
I forgot about
Ellington.
May. He's my second most hated player. He bumps Lang down to 3. May, half his rebounds were his own misses. That's why I didn't like him. He would turn around and throw it off the backboard to himself and then put it in.
He knew his strength was his rebound.
Yeah.
They take advantage of it.
Well, Rashad McCants saved their butts in the playoff in the tournament that year, and he didn't get no credit. And then that's all they talked
Well,
about.
now
May,
you know
May,
why.
May.
But you know why. You know
He's
why
good.
now.
He's crazy.
He's getting credit now.
He's crazy.
He's getting credit now. That's the problem. Getting some of the credits the wrong way.
But yeah, so milk carton. There's a milk carton out there for Marcus Page. That's it.
I
But
know.
so
That's embarrassing.
hopefully, if the coach sees when they match up against Duke again on March 7th, if they're playing the same defensive strategy, let Page initiate the offense.
Well, I guarantee Marcus Page will be there when they play State.
No, but
He'll score 31.
He destroys us.
Do you guys remember the game being more of a classic, or you remember it for the meltdown in the last 2
It was
minutes?
more of a class. I think it was more of a classic. I take that. No.
Nah.
Depends on if you're a
I don't
Carolina
think there's
fan
big
or a
enough
Duke
names
fan.
in it for it to be a
Look,
classic.
Well,
When I go back and
hey,
talk about it.
No, it don't. Because one of the best games ever played was an outman Duke team.
Right.
When Capel hit a 3-pointer at the buzzer to go to overtime, and Duke still lost that
Yep,
game. To
still-
me, that's a
still
classic.
That is a classic.
Yeah,
Everybody
back in
thought it was-
'95.
That was 20 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, but that game had stars. This game has Okafor.
Okafor and Jones. You might want to put
There's
Jones
no
in there.
there's no stars on Carolina. Those games had Stackhouse, Wallace, and
But Duke
whoever.
didn't have
all the,
any.
They had all those.
Capel was
all
Duke's
those
best player
Jakowskis.
at that time.
Who else was on that team?
I don't even know.
Evan, who was on that team? Evan
Wojo
knows.
on
I'd have to look it
Was Wojo
up.
a freshman or something
In
like that?
'95.
Who was with Capel?
I don't know. I mean, that was right after Grant Hill and all them guys
That's
left.
a good one.
so.
I really do not know.
Yeah,
I mean,
94, 95 Duke blew that.
Coach K wasn't even coaching the team that year. I mean, he had
Was
those
that the year he
back
quit because he was going to have a bad team? Oh, yeah, I forgot. He didn't want to have losses on his record. I forgot about that. Oh, yeah. Then he scheduled
He had his
Gardner
back-
Webb for
he had
25
his-
games a year
He had
after
his
that.
bacchiotomy that year.
Cherokee Parks, Trajan Langdon, Ricky Price, Wojciechowski, Greg Newton, Chris Collins, C. Wallace, whoever that is. But Cherokee Parks was your leading scorer that year, 19 a game.
So you had quite a few NBA players between Wallace, Langdon, and Capel.
Cherokee Parks played in the NBA.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I loved Ricky Price I liked him.
Yeah, but the only way people remember Parks is if you mention his name.
Langdon was one of my favorites.
Yeah, a lot of people did. What, Terry?
The only way people remember Parks is if you mention his name. Nobody remembers who Parks was.
All right, over there, Glenn Sudhoff. We're going to take a time. That's me.
Oh, okay.
I'm working on a commercial break here.
Oh.
Glad to have you with us on a Saturday morning. Stay tuned. More sports talk in a moment.
Hi, this is Woody Durham for Doctors Doug Stroud, Jim Wilson, and Craig Thompson at Family Dental Care in Shelby. No matter the age, kids, teenagers, and adults, Dr. Stroud, Wilson, and Thompson will take care of your dental needs. They have over 50 years' experience serving the people of Cleveland County. Call 704-482-3281 for Family Dental Care at 416 West Warren Street in Shelby. That's Doctors Doug Stroud, Jim Wilson, and Craig Thompson. Kids love them, and you will too.
The Round Man, Okie Knipe, invites you into Okie's Tire and Service Center for all your tire and auto service needs. Okie gives you the best value in tires, both new and used tires, and they'll mount and balance your tires free. Come into Okie's Service Center for all your service needs, including radiator flush, brakes, tune-ups, oil changes, and state inspections. Serving Cleveland County since 1978. That's right, over 35 years. Okie's Tire and Service Center, 800 West Warren Street in Shelby. Check out the What's Up Shopper Service Savings Spectacular at the new Renato Auto Mall in Shelby. Save up to $100 on your next service. Kia, Cadillac, or Honda, get your oil change for as low as $21.95 for 4-cylinder vehicles. Get a 4-wheel alignment for only $64.95. And they have special discounts for veterans too at the new Renato Auto Mall, 4421 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby, just below the Cleveland Mall. Crossroads Ford in Shelby has made it easier than ever to buy a new car during the Sign and Drive sales event. Just listen to how easy it really is. Pay no money down. Your first month's payment is $0. That's right, $0. Plus pay no money at signing and get a free 3-year or 45,000-mile basic maintenance plan. Now that's easy. All during the Sign and Drive sales event at Crossroads Ford Lincoln, 1775 East Dixon Boulevard, Shelby.
22 gorgeous Bellegarde gardens, beautiful IDS designer rooms, crafts and wine from the Carolinas, hundreds of companies with everything from kitchen cabinets to orchids. That's right, it's time for the Southern Spring Home and Garden Show. For 55 years, the trusted marketplace for everything that makes a home a home. You have 2 weekends to see what's new, learn from building and remodeling professionals, enjoy 4 stages packed with top chefs, gardening gurus, home experts, and toe-tapping entertainment. The first Sunday is UNC TV Day with the Woodwright Shops Roy Underhill. This year's show has a huge sand sculpture, a green market with blooming plants, and great shopping. So get ready for spring, February 20th through 22nd, and again, February 27th through March 1st at the Park Expo. Sponsored by the Charlotte Observer and Carolina Chevy dealers. Advance tickets at Harris Teeter.
Here in Charlotte, our story is like no other. A while back, our city lost something, but we didn't lose hope. Our city fought, our city swarmed, and together we brought our team back where they belong. We are the Charlotte Hornets, and this is our comeback. The home team is finally home.
Charlotte Hornet basketball right here at Big O Country and online at ktcbroadcasting.com.
We're community-minded. We believe in what we do. We love this town. We live in just like you.
We're a community bank. That's why we always try to approach things from a community-minded point of view. When something is in the best interest of the communities we serve, it's good for us as well. We're community-minded, just like you.
Carolina Trust Bank, member FDIC. Community-minded, just like you.
We're community-minded, just like you.
At the Drugstore Health Mart Pharmacy in Lincoln and Annandale, they treat their customers as if they were family. Health Mart pharmacies are locally owned pharmacies with a personal commitment to the communities they serve. The Drugstore Health Mart Pharmacy honors prescription plans including Medicare, and Health Mart pharmacists are trusted healthcare resources, knowing that nothing is more important than your family's well-being. Visit your nearest Drugstore Health Mart Pharmacy, 626 Center Drive, Town & Country Shopping Center, Lincoln, and at 9576 Highway 10 in Vail. Here's what's up in Cleveland, Gaston, and Lincoln counties. Brought to you by the What's Up Shopper and Big O Country, WOHS, WCSL, and WLON. The Joy Performance Center in Kings Mountain announces local auditions for Liberty Mountain. The auditions will be held Saturday and Sunday, March 14th and 15th at the Joy Performance Theater. For more information, go to libertymountain.com. And the S. Ray Louder Elementary School will have their 7th annual Spring Spirit 5K Race and Walk Saturday, March 14th. It's a 3.11 mile course for runners and walkers. All funds raised will go toward technology and other materials needed for the classrooms. All donations will be tax deductible. For more information, call Michelle Thomas at 704-735-2741. And that's What's Up. Brought to you by the What's Up Shopper, Big O Country, WOHS, WCSL, and WLON. For more information, go to whatsupshopper.com.
And welcome back to Sports Talk. Glad to have you with us. Talking Duke, North Carolina, great rivalry. They meet again in there in a couple weeks. We talk about in the grand scheme of things, it's for bragging rights, and you want to be one up and all that kind of stuff. And because it's so local and everything, we're really into it. But it don't matter. Both teams are going to NCAA tournament, you know, and everybody knows you want to win in March. But I don't know.
You see that this was the highest watch college basketball game of the year. 4.1 million people watched it. However, that number is equal like a 2-point-something share on the TV rating.
It's 2.6, yeah.
But compared to Alabama, Auburn, it was 13 million people that watched the Iron Bowl.
Will ESPN have the next meeting too? When
Yes, they
play
will. Because it's March 7th. That's a Saturday. It's probably going to be the 8 o'clock game college game day. Yep.
Okay. Because they built that. I mean, you know, they start
no
building it up.
this time for the first time.
Yeah, and he was kind of disappointed, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he was kind
that
of
was
disappointed.
the best decision they've ever made.
You know, I was flipping back and forth between the ACC
I've been watching Channel 3. I've been watching Channel 3 for 20 years. As soon as I hear Dookie V come on the radio, we're done with him. We're going to switch to Channel 3. That's his name, Dookie V.
But you know, I was flipping back and forth between the ACC network and ESPN because the ACC network
Vitale.
was just a little bit.
I bet you do.
Ahead in action,
I mean, he's a fan of college basketball.
He's a fan of Duke.
He's a fan of Duke. He's a big fan of North Carolina. He is. I mean, he's a big fan.
I just saw an article the other day.
He's even a fan of Kentucky.
Yeah. Oh God.
You know? I mean,
that's what he says.
Dick Vitale does no wrong. He loves all these coaches.
I think he loves the
Put
game.
a cape on Dick Vitale and a D on his T-shirt and tell me he doesn't look exactly like the Duke Blue Devil mascot.
Well, I want to tell you
the
something.
Duke Blue Devil mascot.
I got texts coming in saying, "Go Duke." Well, let me tell you what about y'all's little rivalry. That's number 3 against number 5 in the ACC.
Okay.
There you go. That's all I got
All right,
to say.
Jay, let's talk about your rivalry.
We can't
Number
help
11.
against
We can't
five.
help states not
Who's the
in it.
number 11 team I rival with?
You know, 3 against 5.
Who's the number 11 team I rival with, Terry?
Y'all, yet none of y'all can
Here's a
even compare to Bennett now. Nobody. You've
you're
made your trips up there and you've lost.
You're a Virginia fan now?
No,
All right, who's state's biggest rival in basketball?
probably Louisville.
Louisville?
Yep. We're 1-0 against them. Since they arrived.
Terry picked the only team they got to win a record against.
I mean,
Well, I mean, we have no choice.
I
They
still say
matched
it's
us up
Carolina.
with Wake Forest. I mean,
I
you
still
know,
say it's Carolina, though.
you know,
It
I
used
don't
to
know
be
if you go
in the
back
80s.
and in the last few days, I guess
Louisville. I didn't expect
our matchup would probably be Duke. I mean, you know, because we have
Y'all
defeated
beat
Duke.
them more than
yeah, we have.
than
Here lately.
other teams.
I just looking to see who it is because to me it's like they don't have that big one natural
We do
rival that
not.
stands
We do
out,
not.
you
We
know,
do not.
that
I'm gonna be
really
honest.
stands
We do
out.
not.
Ever since Gugliotta went pro, y'all haven't been nothing to Carolina.
We've been nothing for Carolina ever since way back in 2000.
I said Gugliotta. He
Yeah,
was like
we go
96
way
or
back,
something,
man.
wasn't he? 93?
Yeah.
Early 90s.
Rough week this week, guys, for
Some
high
people don't
school
even know who
basketball.
Gugliotta is, do they?
For high school players, high school basketball fans, high school coaches, the waiting game. It turned into the it won't be game. because all the conference tournaments were canceled. I don't know that I've ever. Kevin, you told me one of them was
Smack
canceled
was
last
year because of
Well, I'm gonna be
weather.
honest.
But to
What,
have
what
this
this
many, I
really
don't
hurt
ever remember.
is the teams who had got better towards the end of the year,
Yeah.
hoping this tournament. Hey, we got one more shot, and now you don't. It's over.
What I think it hurts is the teams that were on a roll playing good basketball, and now they're going to go 10 days without
Yeah,
playing.
without playing.
And that next game's a playoff game.
Well, they went 4 or 5 without practicing because they can't even go to
Right.
practice and stuff because of
Exactly.
the ice and snow. If school's canceled, so I mean, you got to think, yeah, it's gonna make a lot of these teams rusty come playoff
They
time.
are.
And
Well,
some
I'm
of
gonna
these
mention
schools
some
didn't
other
have any
thing.
ice. They've
I
been
think from
vaccinated.
here west you're okay
Yeah.
because everybody's in the same boat.
Yeah.
But from here east, like over to Greensboro or Winston, wherever the line ends now for the West bracket, some of those guys probably got to play their tournaments.
Yeah. But I'm gonna tell you something else that's bothering too is baseball, because I know starting Monday, West Lincoln's got a scrimmage game with South Caldwell.
not practiced.
Ashford,
so,
Ashford
I mean-
had a scrimmage today. They had to cancel because they had
See?
first day of tryouts was yesterday.
That's what I'm saying.
And they're still trying out today because of the week. So yeah, baseball's they're gonna have to skip some scrimmages, and that's stapled in, David. You're not gonna be
I
able
just
to
wonder
see.
if it's doing anything.
I don't.
Because
Evan, look out that window. Anything
this
going
morning
on?
there were some light snowflakes falling. We went all winter without any snow. Now we've had 3 in 6 days.
Yeah.
I mean some precipitation 3 times now in 6 days, but kind of like last year. I was told it snowed last year around Valentine's Day.
People in Boone wearing that Appalachian State shirt, Jason, are ashamed of these counties down here that close these schools
Yeah.
when it sleet and rains for couple of hours.
Everybody down
But they
in the
probably
valley, not used to that.
They probably have 20 snowplows.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I remember
Exactly.
sophomore year, there was a big snowstorm down this way, and I remember Charlotte. UNC Charlotte canceled classes for like 3 days,
Hey, man.
and we're still going to class in Boone. I drove down, and there was no snow on the ground, but I'll be honest, in the university area, I saw 50 cars on the side of the road abandoned. And in Boone, it was just like, hey, we're walking to class, guys,
man,
and it's 3 feet of snow.
Hey, my freshman year at Fayetteville State, man, we had snow and ice.
Yeah.
It was in January, and we shut down for the week. Hey, it hit like on a Tuesday. The rest of the week was done.
App never canceled a class until I was there for the 40 years, whatever before that. They never canceled a class, and then we did have there was a really, really bad one that one year, and then they did cancel that. They really needed to, but for the most part, I mean, it's like,
Well, you have to.
We're
you
going
have
to class.
on minimal days. You have to
Yeah.
go, or there'd never be any. Because it's going to lay around up there a lot. But it looks like we'll get into the playoffs, guys, starting up on Monday. We mentioned earlier that South Point defeated Forest View last night by 3 points. Right,
now
to get in.
you're talking about Monday. The other day you said they're going to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We were told last night at Crest. Crest said they're starting Tuesday.
Is it
the boys and the girls? So I don't know. Well, exactly
Maybe
how
it
these
is.
schedules are
In
going
the
to come out.
past, they have been Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah.
Now maybe they're going to Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
We'll find out
It would
today,
benefit
won't
all
we?
the teams because they could practice Monday.
I know that's what they should do. Because with them not having all the time off, and they're used to playing on Tuesdays anyway.
The only problem there is it pushes you back to Saturday, and then if you do have some kind of weather again, you're really in a mess because the regionals have to start
March 3rd.
that next week. They have to start that next week. Just looking at some of the preliminary brackets, and it has Smoky Mountain as a number. I'm going to do 2A and 3A, and then we'll look at the 1A too to see if we've got any of our local teams in. But 2A does have Smoky Mountain projected as the 1 seed at 22-0, East Lincoln 19-0, Randleman, North Surrey, East Burke, the 5 overall coming out of the SMAC. North Rowan, Lake Norman Charter, who I've heard good things about. What a good team they are. Mountain Heritage, Parkwood, Wilkes Central, your top 10 seeds. Believe it or not, all those were number 1s. I don't know how, but all of them came out as number 1. I guess they're playing in combo conferences because Parkwood and Wilkes Central are both 11-11, but they were the 1 seed. Had to be in a combo conference out of their league. Just to take a look, Smoky Mountain, the 1 would host West Davidson if it holds up to be true. East Lincoln, the number 2, they would host Ashe County in the first round, another 11-11 team. Lincoln would be on the road at Wilkes Central. Shelby would be on the road, looks like, at Mountain Heritage in the preliminary bracket.
Where is that at?
Heritage is
Yeah, we've been there.
Burnsville, which
Yeah.
is
That means WHS will be broadcasting live from Crest High School first round.
Burnsville
Yeah.
is up around Mount Mitchell.
Well, we're not going to Mount Mitchell.
It's a pretty good ride.
Yes,
You
it is.
Shelby fans, you better get on the bus. We'll be going Crest.
Newton Conover, another one of our teams in one of our local conferences, would draw the 16 seed. I got to think that means they would play the 17. Am I right? 16, 17 would hook up. That would be
Yeah.
Salisbury. They don't have them matched up here. It's just got them seeded in order. So I'm kind of trying to guess. East Rutherford, your 29 seed, would be playing North Surrey. North Surrey at 19-3. But now we got to change this. So we got to flip flop East Rutherford and Shelby because in this one it came out before last night's game.
Right.
So that would flip flop.
Yeah,
so,
East will be the 2 seed.
Yep. Which means if Shelby's the 29, they go to North Surrey, which is as far or farther than Burnsville.
Still doing Crest.
most of the teams playing at home. I mean, let's face it, they're not from around here.
No.
West Caldwell would get a home game. East Lincoln would get a home game. Lake Norman Charter, East Burke, Newton Conover. That's about it for our area in a 2A. As far as getting home games in the first round of the playoffs. Now, obviously, there may be things in here we don't know, we don't see that the state, whenever they come out with their brackets today, you have to go by that. That's what will be finalized. But, a lot of times preliminaries are usually about 85% spot on. So at least it gives you some kind of idea. Trying to get the 3A to pull up for me here right quick. Please post the 3A boys bracket. Got all kind of 3A stuff here, but
What about the girls? Got anything about the girls?
Well, real quick, I've got a couple of tweets just looking here real quick. The what is it? MMW NC All-Star game, 1A All-Star game. Looks like Bree Ramsdorf of Cherryville and Olivia of Strauntz of Pine Lake Prep will be playing in that. And Highland Tech's Bethany Burleson will be also in that All-Star game.
And when is it?
It doesn't say.
Oh, okay.
So there you go. That's all I can tell you.
Terry, you were asking about girls. I have punched buttons here trying to find 2A girls, and it's got
nothing.
It's got a thread, but nothing comes up as far as the playoffs. And really, with us saying all this and everything, if one team moves, it changes everything.
Changes everything.
Anyway, so
it
there's
does.
really no use. You might as well wait till about 3 or 4 o'clock today, go on NCHSAA and see if you can and get them pulled up and just maybe tell at that point who's going to be going where. Hey, it's it's going to be do or die time now. You got 3 games this week you got to survive to win your sectional. Then you move on to the regionals. It takes 6 wins to win the basketball state championship, and pretty tough to do. And of course, in 2A, with our, we do have some good teams on this side, but we know what's waiting on the other side. Can anybody beat Kinston? Who's won 5? I think it's 4 out of the last 6 or 5 out of the last 7 state titles in 2A. Don't think they're quite as good this year.
They got some kid named Graham, I think, on their teams. Everybody says Ingram. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, one of the
He's a real
top-notch
deal.
players. Yeah.
Yep. Kentucky, Carolina, Duke,
Yeah.
head coaches have all been in to see him.
Sure have. State put in a
Not
bid
Duke,
too,
I'm
but
sorry.
we
I
won't
take back
get him.
Duke. They didn't. It was State. It was Gottfried.
Yeah.
Gottfried, Roy, and Calipari have all been in there
Yeah.
to watch this kid play. So.
Calipari done come.
Yeah. Yeah. Go to the one and done school.
Well, that seem to be a lot of that, don't they?
We get transfers.
Speaking of, while we on high school real
Yes.
quickly, update. I'm just seeing some tweets about wrestling.
That's what I was going to
That's
ask.
what I
Terry.
was gonna do.
I was going to ask Terry if he had any of the
Go.
updates.
Well, from just a couple tweets that Ryan Herman had put out last night that Mac George and Andres Gonzalez
Yep.
both advanced to the 2A semifinals this morning.
Andres in the 285-pound, Mac George in the 195-pound.
Yeah, that's what I seen. That's what
Yeah, and West Lincoln had 6 total wrestlers. A lot of people said, was that the most they've ever had? No, they've sent 8 one time, and they've sent 7 2 other times. But they are wrestling today. Newton Conover leads the overall standings, 47.5.
No, this is individual.
This is individuals, and
But they're
all.
still
individual,
They
but
still
you
have a
team
regional
total.
and then a team thing too.
You have a team total.
Yeah.
How do you-
Woo!
Yeah, it's over your head.
It is.
I know.
Hey, I still don't fully comprehend
Golly.
it.
Yeah.
I still
So
do not fully
Newton
comprehend
Conover is up 47.5. Hunter Huss 47.0. Hunter Huss won the regional this past week as a team thing.
Right.
But like again, West Lincoln sent 6 wrestlers, and again Andres Gonzalez and Mac George in the semis today, undefeated. And in the wrestling part of it, it's one of them things. Once you lose, then the best you can go is come back and finish third. You cannot come back and win it. So they also sent Keaton Norman, Jake Clary, Billy Goebel, and Robbie Hallman from West Lincoln, who did a great job. But this all ends up today, I'm going to say, or maybe tomorrow.
Today,
I think so.
Because the championships, I think, starts at 4:00.
Yeah,
and
today.
The semifinals this morning, I think, was getting
But a
away
great
about
job.
9:30, and then
But I want to mention one thing, and I know every time I'm around Coach Ross, he's a great guy to talk to, and we talk about class acts of coaches in our area, from Cluninger to Ware to Barnes to all of our coaches around here are some of the best. Beam, but when I speak of that stuff, Coach Ross last week, his young grandson Hunter Carpenter is in a match, and he's down in the match. But during the match, there was an illegal move by another player off of another team, and he was slammed to the canvas. And he had a chance at this time that he could just take the default, take the win, and he moves on to the state. Well, Coach Ross comes over to him and says, "Young man, this is your choice. Which do you want to do?" Well, the young man has been around Coach Ross so much, and you talk about class. He walked out there. He he went down on all fours. The other guy let him up for a point to make it closer, but then he took the default. He did not take the win. But he could have took the default and said that I won and move on to the state, but he did not do that. And, to me, that's a class act from total West Lincoln part of it, because they try to do things the right way. This young man was getting beat pretty thoroughly, and he took the default, did not take the win, took the loss. So great job for Hunter Carpenter. A class act under his part. He could have went on to the state if he had wanted to, but he did not. And it just shows me, Coach Ross is doing the right things through the guys on another, I don't know how you would say that, but
it don't surprise me. Wouldn't expect anything any different. So we wish those guys the best of luck today, though, as they move on. And
I know a couple of them personally, so good luck to you guys.
But I want to mention one thing that happened after that was done. The next match this young man had, the one that Hunter gave up the win to, he walked over there, took Hunter's socks, put on him to wrestle his next match.
Now that's how you get out.
That's class. Well,
were they clean socks or did he already wear them?
Had WL on the side, man.
Yeah, were they dirty socks or were they clean socks?
Guys, on more back to basketball for a moment, I did find some 1A information here, and there's some on here you guys are going to be surprised.
I had
about.
one comment on wrestling real quick. Tomorrow night, Sting will be on Fastlane on WWE.
He's still back.
Woo!
Sting, I thought he was a singer.
Yeah. Sting will be back, baby, on
Ric
WWE.
Flair would beat him.
Flair was on there last week, and he got beat up by Triple H.
Okay.
Because he was trying to defend Sting.
How old is Ric Flair? 78.
He's old, but he was on there. I don't watch it, but Sting was always my favorite, and it's been 15 years since WCW was out. They went under, and he's never been on WWE or WWF, so he's coming back for a few matches this year. So I'm just excited about that. So there's my wrestling note for the day. Go Sting.
In 1A basketball, preliminary bracket has Albemarle being the number 1 seed. I think they're undefeated, guys. I don't have the record here, but I think they are undefeated on the season. Starmount the 2, East Montgomery the 3, and Mount Airy the 4. Lincoln Charter, local team here, would be the 5 seed overall. But how about number 22, Cherryville, on the road at number 11, Bessemer City?
Did they really do that?
That's unofficial. It's
unofficial.
If they do that, that's a jerk move. Because
it ain't a move. It's where you fall in.
Well, all right. There's no difference between 22 and 23 or 10 and 11. The people at the state could easily say, all right, these teams have played 4 times this year. Do they really need to play 5?
this early.
I agree, but how many rematches do we see in football in week 1?
Yeah,
Not
that's
5.
True. That's true.
Well, not the 5th time. No, you can't. But
Well, eliminate
in
somebody
football,
out of
they're
that
doing it
conference.
to make money. I don't know if that would be the decision in basketball as well on that.
Well,
But,
from a
you know,
1A
football-
perspective, it may be, especially with these two teams.
Well,
But now here's my
there'd be a
deal.
bigger crowd Cherville
There'd be
at
a great-
Bessemer than
there'd
there
be a
would
great
be
crowd.
Cherville
Look at
at
their
Allegheny.
record.
Yeah.
Look at their record. Probably how many wins did Cherville have above the teams that's in front of them? I know that don't mean nothing.
I don't know, and I can't answer that.
I mean, you
there are
know.
not records on here.
Yeah.
So, but I can't. I know Cherville finished with a winning overall
Yes.
record. You know.
But,
So I
you're talking
guarantee
about,
some of them
but we
teams.
just had that discussion a minute ago. Like Duke and Carolina, they're not going to put them in the same bracket if they can help it. You know, they're not going to make them
I
play in
agree.
the first round. I can understand if they meet in the second or third round if you have to do it that way. You know, that's how it works out. But first
There's
round,
probably other conference
rivals
championships
and-
on here
I'm
that
sure
I just
there
don't.
are.
I don't know what they
Oh,
are.
yeah,
but,
you're right.
But yeah, I mean, I know. But I guess the state says, look,
I'm highly against same conference games in first round.
Oh, I am too.
Oh, me too.
I am too. We don't know what they can do to. It would take so much more work. I mean,
All you
they'd
have
be
to
there
do,
2 days.
here's what it takes. Hey, instead of putting Bessemer at 22, let's put them at 23.
And then you're gonna make the other team mad.
Who
you know?
cares?
They do.
Yeah, they do. They want
That's exactly who they do.
Because you're gonna make. Oh, I'm one spot different.
Right.
Who cares?
It could be the travel. That's what they're looking at.
Oh, you're
Depends-
already traveling. You're
Especially if you're in that middle part.
Yeah,
Yeah, play at home or play away.
Versus,
Pine Lake Prep, who's also a team from the Southern Piedmont 1A, would be going to Allegheny if this holds up true to form, and also Community School of Davidson would be going to North Moore. The one everybody's looking for in this 1A is Winston-Salem Prep.
Oh.
And I thought I saw their name a minute ago, guys. Yeah, Winston-Salem Prep will be the 13 seed hosting number 20 Chatham Central. So
They still don't get no
It's a
respect.
nice little trip from Siler City to.
must play a heck of a schedule.
How many public schools are in that bracket?
13. 3.
4. Bessemer and Cherville, the only teams that are actually playing.
Well, let me name. Okay, let me name the ones that are not.
That
we
don't
know are
say
not.
Academy or
Lincoln
Prep.
Charter. It's basically a public school. You don't have to pay to go there, but it is chosen. Highland Tech's kind of like that. Bishop McGinnis, Community School of Davidson, Pine Lake Prep, Queens Grant. Yep. What did I name? I lost
Here
six
we go.
right there.
Sure. I mean, how we talked about this a couple weeks ago. How
we
hard is
have.
it for a public school to win a state championship in basketball?
But you know,
especially at the lower level.
Yeah, at the lower levels,
but-
because that's where all the the.
That's
it's
Bishop
it's
McGinnis
not-
girls.
It's just not North Carolina. It's
7
all over the
straight.
country
You're right. Yeah,
now.
you're right.
Because if you look at all these top college basketball prospects, they come from these prep schools
Yep.
or
They all need their own.
Yes.
They need their own conference or division or whatever. I don't care if you play them in regular season. You know, if you want to play basketball game, basketball game. But playoff time, I mean, that's just not right.
There's a school, I don't know if they have East Word of God Assembly out of Raleigh area.
John Wall.
They got 13
Well,
students.
one of my buddies from college, his little brother is a top recruit across the country. His little brother.
What about
plays for
Mountain
Assistant.
Island?
Yeah, I don't even know them.
Well, I'm
No,
gonna tell you
it's
something.
not
I
made it.
saw when I looked one day, and Mountain Island had a decent basketball record, but I know people played them in football. But when I think of daggum playing them in basketball, I'm like, what a quick difference that can make. Just give me 5 players or 3 to go along with the 2 that I've
just
got.
make a different bracket. Do a 5th bracket for charter schools. I mean, it's not fair
Charter
at all.
privates,
Yeah, charter private. It's not fair at all
Prep.
for the people in Cherville. The only way they can get better at basketball is make more babies, and then the other people can recruit people in. I mean, think about that.
Or have more people move.
Or
to
more
Cherville.
people transfer or move into Cherville. I mean, that's really the only thing you can do.
Yep. I have looked and looked and looked trying to find a 3A bracket, and guys, I just cannot find one. I wanted to see, maybe some of the projections for Crest as well, but just nothing on here as far as the 3A bracket.
The big man of them all, Jonathan Schrantz.
And wearing that bright orange, him and Kevin.
But look at his hat.
That's it.
Sporting the orange.
He's got a pink toe pocket
pink
on.
goes with it.
Emma gave that to him this morning.
He's looking sexy in there.
Kevin said it.
Oh,
Boy,
he's trying to
says
get
it
on.
all. Says it all.
Yeah, Evan needs to turn your mic on in there if you want to talk. That's awesome.
All right, guys, we're going to take a timeout. Glad to have everybody with us on Sports Talk. Be sure and tune in later today, or check in, I should say, NCHSAA, and find out where your team is actually going to be playing in the first round and when. Not just where, but when they'll be playing in the first round. Back with more in a moment.
You care about the future of this community. You grew up here. You've raised a family here. Your life is here. So is ours.
Carolina Trust Bank. Member FDIC.
Community minded, just like you.
The grand opening and the live radio remote broadcast of the new Buddy's Furniture on East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby, scheduled for this Saturday, has been canceled and rescheduled for Saturday, March 7th from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. Join us then for the grand opening of the new Buddy's Furniture in Shelby. The Spring into Savings Sales event is underway now at Campers Inn in Kings Mountain. Now's the time to come on in and save thousands of dollars. You'll find the best selection ever. Hundreds of new and used RVs on site with easy financing available. Brand new travel trailers starting at $11,995 and big Class A motorhomes starting at $69,995. See Brian Good today at Campers Inn, exit 8 off I-85, Highway 161 South in Kings Mountain. The Spring into Savings Sale event is underway at Campers Inn, where customers always come first.
For over 30 years, Forest City Heating and Air Conditioning has been servicing Cleveland and Rutherford counties with quality-built Trane heating and air conditioning systems. Hurry in now and check out the great deals from Trane. Whether it's commercial or residential, Trane is there for you. Ask about your new Trane XL 18i today. Come into Forest City Heating and Air for all the details or call 828-245-1379. Forest City Heating and Air. Again, 828-245-1379. And remember, it's hard to stop a train.
Never before has the NBA seen a story quite like ours.
Muggsy Bogues penetrates and scores!
Never have basketball fans seen their passion bring back the same team with the same name to the same place. These are our Hornets. This is our comeback. It's Charlotte Hornets basketball, and you can hear it right here on this Charlotte Hornets radio network station.
Charlotte Hornet basketball right here at Big O Country and online at ktcbroadcasting.com.
I'm a faithful Kibo's customer. I like Kibo's. I get delicious Hunt Brothers pizza there, and it's so good. And their breakfast biscuits, they're great. Plus, I get my gas there. Then there's Coca-Cola, Sundrip, and Pepsi Colas. Oh my, the candy's good too. And of course, when it's hot, the hand-dipped ice cream. It's so good. Hey, it's even good in those cold days as well. Kibo's, my favorite place. It's located there at the Caution Light on Highway 226 North at Zion Church Road intersection, Shelby.
We're community minded. We believe in what we do. We love this town. We live in just like you.
We're a community bank. That's why we always try to approach things from a community-minded point of view. When something is in the best interest of the communities we serve, it's good for us as well. We're community-minded, just like you.
Carolina Trust Bank. Member FDIC. Community minded just like you.
We're community minded, just like you. Country Gold with Randy Owen.
I'm Randy Owen. Join me each week as I play 5 decades of great country music and tell stories about a lot of my friends and heroes.
Hey everybody, it's Vince Gill and Paul Franklin. We made a great new record called Bakersfield. We're going to be playing some of that and a whole bunch more.
Join me, Randy Owen, for Country Gold.
Country Goer Randy Owen, Thursday afternoons 1 to 5, right here at Big O Country and online at ktcbroadcasting.com. Do you have a lot of old medications piling up? Well, most people do. Then get rid of them and do it safely. Drop off your old medications at the new medication drop box located inside Falston Pharmacy in Falston. All medications will be disposed of by the Cleveland County Sheriff's Department. It's easy. Just clean out your medicine cabinet, bring them in the Falston Pharmacy, and drop them in the box. Falston Pharmacy, Highway 18 north of Falston.
It's time to get your lawnmower ready for spring by taking it to Hojo Power Sports and Equipment in Shelby. Get it serviced now and it'll be ready for spring. And Hojo Power Sports and Equipment services all makes and models, and pickup and delivery is available. Looking for a new mower? Right now get 0% financing on Ferris, Snapper, Walker, and Bobcat mowers. See them for all the details. Hojo Power Sports and Equipment, 110 Griggs Street off South Lafayette Street in Shelby.
Love is a burning thing
to Sports Talk.
And it makes
David Terry, Kevin
a
Jason,
fiery
Smoke
ring.
Man on the board. Jonathan Schantz even in the house. I tell you, what do we owe to the?
He just said breakfast. That's what you owe him. That's what he said when he came in here.
I got a big roll of money. I guess he's buying.
Oh yeah. Well, it don't take much of a what if y'all are going to home, folks.
Big day coming up today, right here on KTC
Yes, it is.
Broadcasting. Plenty of basketball action for you.
Coming up today, 11 a.m., those mighty Tar Heels, Terry Reinhardt's favorite team, host the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. And at 3:30 p.m., we'll have the Clemson Tigers at Duke Blue Devils. And tonight at 7 o'clock, big game in Charlotte, Oklahoma City, at the Charlotte Hornets. Both teams struggling for those 7 and 8 seeds down at the bottom of their respective conferences.
You going to that one?
Yes.
Or I thought you might be.
Yes, I love Kevin Durant.
Durant's playing.
Can't stand Russell Westbrook.
Westbrook's playing.
All-Star
though.
game MVP, Russie.
I'm gonna go watch Russell Westbrook take more shots than the best scorer in the game, than the MVP. Watch the point guard
Are
shoot
there
more
any
than
key,
MVP.
any key players that won't be?
Actually, are the
playing?
4 players playing tonight?
They may be able to. I think.
Because Oklahoma City's got 4
New
trades
ones?
in,
Do
and
they?
I think they will be. But Charlotte, of course, didn't make any trades. Didn't do anything to improve their team. So I guess I like their GM, Rich Cho. He does a good job. I just thought. I guess he didn't have any
I thought
deals
they were
that he liked.
they were trying to shop Lance Stevenson,
Yeah.
but nobody's
Yeah,
wanted
but
him.
no one wanted him.
Nobody wanted him for what they.
Yeah.
What the Hornets wanted him for, apparently.
I think the closest they got was last month when they tried to trade him away for Brooke Lopez, or tried to trade him away for Joe Johnson, but that would have been a big hassle with the contracts of both those guys.
Oh yeah, especially Joe's.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Shout out to Joe's agent. Hey man.
Yeah.
Looks like New Orleans,
Tell you,
Miami
you're
might
right.
be the highlight. They're not like 5 games tonight. It looks like New Orleans, Miami.
Yeah.
Maybe the highlight game of the evening.
I want to touch base with you. This morning, Jake
Rick texting
Clary.
you?
No, Jake Clary has pinned his guy this morning, and he's moving on. But Keaton Norman and Billy Gober are getting ready to wrestle now. Mac and them won't wrestle until later on today, for the semis.
Because of the weight class.
Yes.
Starts smallest and goes on
Well,
up.
I mean, when you're in the semis and you moved on, a lot of the underclass wrestling is going on now. Yes.
How many of those West Lincoln wrestlers could whip Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao? And they're making $160 million, and these kids.
Pin them.
They don't even have to pin them. They can whip them. These boys weigh 125 pounds.
I mean, punches to the head, Floyd and Manny took though. They earned
That's
that
true
money.
too.
They took a lot of punches to the head. Before we get out, NFL news this week: the Underwear Olympics are going on, aka the Combine.
Yeah,
And I see
boys,
today.
Yeah,
today is
Mr.
the,
Winston's got shoulder problems.
Yeah,
Looks like he had belly problems.
Well, that picture was taken last month. Yeah,
He's pregnant.
Hey, he had
He
a
is
weight.
overweight.
Look, he got a weight problem. He just can't wait to eat.
Yeah, that's
All
true.
it.
Billy Kilmer.
But right now, according to Twitter, right now the wide receivers are running the 40s, and some of the times coming out. Amari Cooper expected to be the first wide receiver taken off the board. Ran an unofficial 4.43 in his first 40 attempt, and then second unofficial 4.42.
Yep.
Sammy Coates, the wide receiver from
He
Auburn.
needs to pick it up a little, don't he?
Yeah, Sammy Coates, the wide receiver from Auburn, he ran a slow 4.45. That was considered slow. 4.45. Yeah.
Real quick, I forgot to give the rest of the weekend's schedule. Sunday, the only broadcast right now on the schedule is the Charlotte Hornets at the Dallas Mavericks. So that'll be another good game. And then Monday, we have nothing scheduled. So if we do have playoff games Monday, David, we may have high school basketball Monday. Tuesday, though, NC State at North Carolina. So we probably, I don't know what we're going to do about that, guys. We're going to have to talk about as far as playoff goes. So we may not have Tuesday high school basketball action. Follow the schedule on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on the website so you'll know exactly what we'll be broadcasting this week.
So, yeah, I still be determined. I wish we did know for sure about at least the day that the playoffs will start. I thought all along Monday, but it looks like it might be Tuesday. The good thing about that we mentioned earlier would be teams get to practice that haven't had a chance to even get on the court together now in about 10 days, which has made it tough for some of these teams. But, most teams in the same position there. But, as you go south or southeast, teams may have got to play more, got their tournaments in, whatever it may be. I haven't seen that any tournaments got played, but I would think that, Winston-Salem area, maybe around there, and even the Roans
I bet they played in Watauga County.
Might have got to play. Probably did. Probably
They don't
did.
care about that snow.
They probably did. They probably just said, "Hey, we play with snow on the ground every year." So what's
How about a
different about
basketball
today?
game getting snowed out?
Major League Baseball. You mentioned football.
Yeah.
But, this is the time of year. It's really kind of slow, except for basketball. But you have some football going on because
Pitchers and catchers.
And you got baseball going on and
racing.
The news this week: Alex
Right.
Rodriguez.
NASCAR.
Get back Alex Rodriguez, which is a handwritten apology coming out this week. No,
Yeah,
sorry.
I want to play. I want to play. Please put me
Nah,
on
he
the
not
field.
playing. He just want to collect. He want to collect that.
They need to
27.
send him down
Yeah,
to the D
yeah,
League.
27.
Whatever it
Shout
is.
out, whatever it is. Shout out to his agent too. Oh, no.
I would be there.
He's got a lottery ticket and he's wanting to cash it in.
Yep.
He don't care if he
Ain't
steps
mad
foot on the field or not, right?
You know he's been working out with Barry Bonds.
I'm gonna tell you what, man. He's got all kind of incentives. He hits 6 home runs. He gets a great big pay increase.
Because
He's got all kind of stuff.
And I think the Yankees were trying to fight him on that, or try not to pay out. But hey, you don't want to make that.
They made the
incentive
deal.
later.
All you
They
do is
made
send
the
him
deal.
down to the minors. Send him down to the minors where he can't get it.
I'm pretty sure he don't have any. Can you send him to the minors?
Why can't you?
Well, don't you have to have a? Don't you have to
like a
have
rehab
yeah,
assignment or something like that?
yeah,
I don't know
it's
what
got-
he's got in contract. He
well, that's what
cannot
I'm
be
saying.
sent
In your
down.
deals, you got to be. You can't. You can only go to the minors so many times before they have to trade you or something like that, isn't it?
Well, send
Because-
it down. They
His
can trade
claim-
him.
His claim he's got a bad arm. So, yeah, he's injured. Something's wrong.
He's got too many needles in his behind.
Got a
That's-
bad mind. Got a bad mind, that's for sure. All right, guys, it's about time for us to go. But special thanks to one person out there, one of our most loyal listeners, is in Kinston, North Carolina. Brian Hanks. State playoffs this year are Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
Cool.
So thank you, Brian. Appreciate you listening. Appreciate you letting us know that for sure. So this year they have moved them to Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So your finals will be on a Saturday night. Enjoyed it this morning, guys. For Kevin, Terry, Jason, and Smoke on the board, I'm David. We'll see you next week on Sports Talk.
Lights on over every boy and every girl. Closing time. One last call for alcohol. So finish your whiskey.
It's time to start those projects you've been putting off, and the place to start is Cleveland Lumber Company in Shelby. Brighten up your home with a new coat of Benjamin Moore paint. You'll find every color under the sun, along with all of your painting supplies. Build a deck for those summer cookouts. Fix that leaky faucet in the bathroom, or put in those new windows you've been wanting. Whatever the project, see Cleveland Lumber Company, 217 Arrowwood Street in Shelby. The project start and end with Cleveland Lumber Company in Shelby. It's Truck Month at Abernathy Chevrolet in Lincoln. Get up to $8,000 in total value on the 2014 Chevy Silverado.